Yeah, Bim up. Welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That is Anderson. I'm Brian Bishop, our host for today. Top 5 post-apocalyptic films. Shocking, we have not done that, but we'll get into that shortly. We also have Fanflickssions of if I saw the TV Glow. Debs was reassigned to me, as well as Happy Feet. We'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
You excited about that?
Yeah.
It all kind of coalesces this week, Anderson. We got Happy Feet, we got post-apocalyptic films, and we got Furiosa on the horizon.
Furiosa is on the horizon, and then also Last Stop Yuma County. I guess I'll talk about that one next week because I don't want to jam this one too jam. So
yeah, I want to get some Jimmy Combs in me.
Jim Cummings will be discussed in his latest performance in Last Stop in Yuma County. That's the title, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna save that. Yeah,
that's what the preceding two sentences were saying exactly that. Yes.
Well, you didn't actually say the title. You said Humes or something.
No, I did. I said the full title, and then I asked what the title was.
We're gonna save that, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, hey, we're doing a remote show, and that is on me. I have a little cold again. Actually, it's beyond that. I've been hurling. Got some kind of stomach bug going on, and it's not pleasant. And I might throw up on this episode. I do have a trash can close to me, but Brian's sick.
Sick indeed.
Brian's he's a fragile little guy, and every
That's
time,
right.
Normally, I would just drag my ass into whatever I have to go do, but with Brian's, I would feel so bad if I killed you.
I'm immunocompromised, so I appreciate the thoughtfulness on your part, staying away from my den of purity over here. So thanks for that, and I hope you feel better.
It was actually Jillian. I said, I might just go, honey. I might just, you know what? I'll see how I feel. And she goes, you do that to Brian? I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know what?
Thank God for Jillian in so many ways.
I was going to call you up and leave it up to you. To be like, hey, I got this little, I'm going to downplay it, but
I would have said YOLO.
That's how you answered the phone earlier today. At least that's what it sounded like when I did call you and tell you what's up. Pretty sure.
I think I said yellow.
Yellow. All right, it's very close, Brian.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's there's an apocalypse happening in my body right now. I don't like it, and I'm gonna be probably leaning back. I'm not gonna be quite up in your face as I normally am, which I guess could be a good thing.
I'm sorry you don't feel well. That's terrible. That sucks.
Jillian was so sick over the weekend. I had to take her to the hospital. She had to get an IV.
Oh,
Jesus!
Give her an IV because she couldn't keep anything down. So I'm assuming that it's the same thing happening. That's why I'm drinking Gatorade. Got
electrolytes.
Right? It's got
it's what plants crave.
God, I wanted Idiocracy to be post-apocalyptic, but it's not. It's just dystopian.
I know. So we should talk about that. I should call on my list. While I do that, we did dystopian. Avery, I'm sorry, you speaking?
No, it's me. It's Anderson. Right here. Dude, look at me.
I saw Avery grabbing the mic. So
I can't believe that those morons didn't hit the button at some point in Idiocracy from the time that they went into the little cryogenics.
Yeah. They probably lost the keys for the
good point.
Hey, can we say that all Godzilla movies are post-apocalyptic? Because Japan was post-apocalyptic there for a minute.
In a sense. There's still the population of the Earth. There still appears to be more or less intact, so you have a problem there. But do you want to do this now, or do you want time to maybe look up your list of dystopian films we did in 2011 and then updated for Patreon in 2020?
I don't have it. I have no idea where that would be. I want to know where to find it.
Well, I can do mine, but I'd rather hear what the listeners have to say.
Oh wait, did you say Frankenhooker? Because we watched Frankenhooker too.
I did not mention Frankenhooker.
Why would you not mention Frankenhooker? Andrew Martin signed as Frankenhooker. We watched Frankenhooker, and we're going to be talking about that on this.
Did you talk to Mr. Martin?
I did. I spoke with Mr. Martin earlier today, and I was listless. I felt kind of bad. I'm like, well, I need to go now and throw up some more. And he said, okay.
You were
not related to the conversation.
No, it was not. It was just me being sick.
You had just seen Frankenhooker.
You know what? I'm glad I wasn't sick when watching that because there is some disgusting stuff.
That might have turned your stomach. Know that. All right, Avery, please regale us with the listener fanflickssions.
Little fanfliction compiled by Mike Cole, Ben Neal on Facebook, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and it's decent. But it left me wanting to watch much better movies.
Right.
It's trying to emulate, such as Inglourious Bastards and The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
Additionally, I watched The Last Stop in Yuma County, a nice 90-minute suspenseful crime thriller. I'd watch Jim Cummings paint a fence. Worth the time. Good to hear, Ben. John Aramini on Facebook, The Coffee Table. I laughed a lot, and that's a statement I shouldn't say in front of most people who've seen it. The darkest comedy ever. Ballsy filmmaking.
I will admit this right now, let you off the hook a little bit, and I don't know how this is going to go for me, but I laughed a lot during I Saw the TV Glow. Now, I don't think that's something I should admit either, but here I am doing it.
There was humor. Why
There was?
Yes.
We'll talk about it.
Well, you laughed.
I think some of it was even deliberate.
I think I had to
Donkey.
create my own humor, which I was doing kind of at spots in the movie.
Oh, there's going to be a lot to say on that.
I'm sorry.
Getting my comeuppance.
I'm sorry.
Spooky Donkey 513 on Reddit. I saw the TV Glow. Vindication. First off, thank you, Avery, for the allegory heads up.
Nay. More on that
It
later.
made what I was seeing make more sense in the moment for me. With that said, I loved this movie. I vibed so hard. As a 90s kid, the nostalgia really hit home, and the portrayal of teenage apathy and angst was hugely relatable. Moments shocked me, while others caused the theater to get a little dusty. I must admit that it left me confused as to what was reality in their world, but in this case, that's a positive thing. I'll be going for a second viewing ASAP.
Wow.
4.5 out of 5 stars. Look at that.
Brian, you did not.
Cunningham.
Brian, you did not see I Saw the TV Glow, right?
I'm watching it right now.
I'm glad you did not see it because I can already hear what you would be saying. You would just be wildly distracted by the lack of makeup done for time shifts with characters, as well as tone skin, colored skin tone skin. I'm not well, kids. Skin tone.
Tone skin.
Being very.
I do have a problem with that.
Where there's a young child playing an older version of himself later, and like there's like maybe 5 or 6 stops difference in skin tone. I think you had a
All right.
that.
I already didn't like it.
It's not a Brian movie.
No, it is not.
Not a Brian movie. Ken Cunningham on Facebook. The Blue Angels documentary in IMAX. Entertaining, informative, and the visuals are outstanding. This is why IMAX exists. That's a Brian movie right there.
Saw it twice.
Note, this is coming to Prime Thursday on 5/23. Oh,
Just
shit.
how it's meant to be seen.
Hey, sit close to
your
your
living room.
TV. Put on some headphones. It'll be close.
Reese Miller on Instagram. I went to a screening of Harmony Korine's latest movie, Aggro Drift. The entire movie is shot in infrared and comes off like a really long cut scene from a Sega CD game.
Right.
Not sure I'd recommend. Not sure I couldn't recommend this to anyone except diehard Harmony Korine fans, and even then it would be difficult. There were a lot of really funny parts, but not sure that they were meant to be. All in all, buyer beware.
I would think it's meant to be. I mean, the Harmony Korine's got a bit of a sense of humor there.
You gave me an idea, Anderson. Like, I imagine, why not just sit super close to your TV, strap on a pair of nice headphones, and you got like the poor man's IMAX.
No, and the closer you sit, the better. But I don't know why I was upset with myself right after I said it. I'm like, why am I advocating for people not to go see the theaters? Well, it's such a double-edged sword because I don't want you in the theater because chances are you're annoying. Because it seems like the majority of people who go to theaters after COVID have been annoying. However, I want them to continue to exist. So I guess I need you to go to the theater. I'm not talking to you, the listener. I'm talking to the masses.
He's talking to me. You want them in a theater, just maybe not in your theater.
Right. Yeah.
Like the real man of the people.
When I went to see I Saw the TV Glow, like I was one of 2 people in the theater, and I felt kind of bad. But I was happy at the same time. But yeah, obviously a theater is going to give you a much, much better experience, especially with the old Blue Angels over there. All right, go ahead, Everett. Sorry.
Landon Zero on Reddit. I saw Snack Shack, which is the latest offering from Adam Reimer, director of Dinner in America. And this totally flew under the radar. It's a 90s coming-of-age comedy about 2 kids running a snack shack. The character Moose reminds me of Styles from Teen Wolf. This movie has the same punk rock spirit as Dinner in America, but it is less aggressive. Furthermore, it has Wags from Billions as the dad, which is fun.
Yeah, it's the same director as Dinner in America. But that poster, I mean, take a look at the poster of Snack Shack. Oy. Concerning. Yeah. Concerning.
Out of the filmmaker's hands, Anderson, as you know.
I do know that. That is true.
And lastly, Shart127 on Reddit.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on.
Does not surprise me that Shart127 saw finally
Wait,
found the time
was
for
Shart 1 through 126 taken?
Probably.
yes,
They're all in the theater.
aliases. Finally found the time for Beau is Afraid.
Oh,
no.
he's so scared.
There's no time.
The first hour is one of the greatest cinematic feats in the history of recorded film.
Fuck the yes. Fuck to the yes.
The second hour is unwatchable.
I don't know about that.
And I hammered sewing needles under my fingernails to make it more enjoyable.
Oh my.
The first half of the third hour, we're getting very granular here. The first half of the third hour is the greatest villain in movie history. Well, tied with Billy Mitchell from The King of Kong. Remember when he showed up to play Steve Weib live and then he just walked around with his buxom wife and then just left? What a hoser.
What?
Anyway.
Why is he talking about a completely different movie while he's talking about Beau is Afraid?
Anyway, the second half of the third hour was the definition of middle of the road, and then it finished with the credits. Overall, I would have liked it more if they had decided to make the whole thing good.
That's fair.
I couldn't agree more. Shart speaks wisdom.
Oh, I forgot it was Shart that was talking. Come on, man. Change your name.
I got no problem with Shart.
No, of course you don't. You probably do it all the time.
It's hitting too close to home for Andy today.
No, it's all coming through
That's
my
right.
mouth.
For sure.
I was afraid too of seeing Christy, your wife, give me the side eye as I raced to the bathroom to puke.
Oh, that's right. What if Tessa was in there?
Yeah, that would not be good. I already walked in on your wife once.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
You knew that, didn't you know that? Or is this new knowledge?
I knew that. I
blocked it out.
that thing.
What are we doing here? What are we?
No, the opposite of blocking it out.
Let's
all right. What do you want to talk about?
Move. I don't know. There's really no like big gotta talk. I guess you can start by talking about If and all its or
I should get If out of the way.
do it.
If IF. I think IF is what they want to call it. It's called IF. Stands
little
for
period.
imaginary friend.
Little period.
I don't see. I don't see any periods on the other side.
And they shouldn't want to call it If I mean IF if they're not.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you should add periods. I get you. I agree. All right. Where are we? Starring, written and directed by John Krasinski. Starring Kaylee Fleming, Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, Fiona Shaw, Bobby Moynihan, and the voices of Steve Carell, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Louis Gossett Jr., Awkwafina, Emily Blunt, George Clooney, Matt Damon, Bradley Cooper, Bill Hader, Richard Jenkins, Keegan-Michael Key, Blake Lively, Sebastian Maniscalco, Christopher Maloney, Sam Rockwell, Maya Rudolph, Amy Schumer, and Jon Stewart.
Jesus Christ.
It's a very, very large voice cast.
Is this a Wes Anderson film?
Potentially part of the problem. 49% Rotten Tomatoes in theaters now. Okay, so here, okay. If IF is actually okay, follow me on this. IF is actually a well-directed movie. The movie has some moments. It definitely has its moments. I will admit that the theater got a bit dusty a couple of times. As you can imagine. And by the way, I heard many sniffles around me. It was not sick people. It was at the emotional moments of this film, of which there are a handful. And they some of them land. Some of the moments in this movie really land. The cast is doing some real work out there. Like, you can tell it was directed by an actor. The cast is doing some work. I'm sad to say the weakness here in this movie is in the writing. I really think John Krasinski could have gotten another writing partner or maybe another pass at the screenplay from someone else. It's the premise is confusing. The rules of the world are unclear, and there's exceptionally low stakes. Like, the movie is kind of all about getting adults to remember their imaginary friends. Did you have an imaginary friend?
Me? No, I had a big family.
Yeah, same. I have my brother to play with. I have the IF in real life.
Is that a real thing?
I know.
The movie would have you believe that every human on Earth had an imaginary friend.
I'm not sure that's real. I was an only child, and I couldn't even conceptualize
So
having
yes,
an imaginary
this
friend.
faulty
Atticus
premise.
has no, other than the J-Man, he has no imaginary friends.
Oh, see, that's controversial right there.
What means it's suggesting that Jesus is only an imaginary friend, which
He's
is
got
also a
Santa.
lie. It's also a lie. Santa is
Um,
a proxy for Jesus.
So right away, the premise is a bit flawed. It's like like asking around, asking Christy or whatever. It's like, I don't think that many people had imaginary friends when they were kids, but according to the rules of this world, every single human being had an imaginary friend. And now they're all like in a retirement home, hence the litany of names that I read off who voice imaginary friends who have no kid because their kid has grown up. It's kind of like Toy Story in a sense, but the stakes are really low because if the if the adults remember the imaginary friend at some point, like their hearts start to glow like ET, and then like they're like all of a sudden reborn in some way, or like recognized or seen. They're not literally seen. It's not like a glorious reunion. It's just like, oh yeah, I remember that, my imaginary friend. But if they don't remember them, nothing happens. They just go back to the retirement home. And it's like, wouldn't it be a lot more compelling if, like Back to the Future style, they like disappeared from existence?
Why don't you
Like
just
that,
say,
that'd be
why don't you
tugging
just
at the heartstrings.
say they bing bonged? Because that would be.
Yes, exactly. If they big bonged. Unfortunately, the movie kind of meanders.
I wish this movie bing bonged.
Yeah.
The movie is okay. It has its moments and it's for kids, and Tessa liked it. So parents out there, enjoy. This will not be a huge waste of your time. That said, for me, it was average to barely above average, but
Could have been watching Garfield.
oh, that looked really bad.
Does it at least do the courtesy of being brisk?
Ish, hour 45.
It's
So,
terrible.
could have been brisker, but also way too many characters. Like it was hard to get invested, you know what I mean? And some of the ifs and there's
So they're actually given something to do. It's not just like a lot of these people have one line and then leave.
some,
It's
yeah,
not stunt cast.
there is a sequence where like they're interviewing, right? Like sitting behind a desk, and on the other side is the if, and they're sort of like, going back and forth, and they get a lot of mileage out of that in terms of star power. But
This sounds wacky and
yeah,
zany.
it has its moments. This movie has moments that work.
Well, I feel like
but
the
overall,
moment where we talk about it on the show is past.
yeah,
I feel
fair.
like we can move on, right?
I don't know why you admonish me like that.
I don't know really admonishing. I feel like talking about a middling movie that none of us are going to go see.
You might have to see it. Atticus might want to see it.
He's
I'm
not.
gonna
I don't know why you.
You know what? Next time I see that boy, I'm talking it up.
Yeah, well, he doesn't trust you at all.
I
Hey,
don't know why you would admonish me like that.
I'm going to do a little something fun.
It was
with
your idea that I start with if.
top
That's a
five
good point.
post-apocalyptic movies. I realized that I'm not in love with my list. Plus, there's like two.
Oh.
There's two that just should be number one and number two for everybody, right? Like across the board. You can interchange them, I think, but there's a couple that are just so obvious that they just belong at the top. So I'm doing that thing which I don't really like, where I just leave them off because they're too obvious. So that's not great. And then the five, I'm trying to make it, interesting. I like my five, but I don't, So what I did was I came across five very interesting post-apocalyptic movies that I either was not familiar with at all or had heard about but didn't really know much about, and I spent more time reading about those and wishing that I had seen them.
Wait, how many movies on your list have we not seen?
Well, they're not on my list, but I'm going to kind of use them to spruce up my list a little bit. But there's some amazing, especially some of the foreign movies that I found. They sound fucking amazing, right?
Don't watch my shit. Watch this list.
I mean, like really in a bad way, though. Like, what is going on in these other countries? So I will be talking about those later. And I'll on my dystopian list if we would like to talk about that at some point. But first, let's talk about I Saw the TV Glow. Brian.
Oh, boy.
Glow.
Yes, Avery and I are going to be talking about this, right?
I'll follow along.
Right. So, Avery, why don't you take it away?
I Saw the TV Glow.
Oh, he's prepared.
Movie that is written and directed by Jane Schoenbrunn, starring Justice Smith, Bridget Lundy Payne, and Ian Foreman. It is currently sitting at, I believe, 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. I saw the TV Glow. Oh, let's see. Rotten Tomatoes. It is about two children, I guess teenagers coming of age. Yes, 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, who are obsessed with a teen supernatural drama called The Pink Opaque, but it is mysteriously canceled.
Mysteriously, after 5 seasons, I felt like it had a pretty good run. Pretty good run.
Didn't make syndication.
So evidently, not only is this about a certain thing that Avery blurted out last week, thinking that it would help me, it's also, you got to kind of be familiar with Buffy to really pick up on a lot of these cues, because I guess that's what the Pink Opaque is kind of loosely based on. So, like Avery said, yeah, it's about this kid who is played by Avery
Justice Smith.
Justice.
Well, it
Smith.
depends which kid you're talking about. If you're talking
You've seen
about
him before Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, he's the younger one.
Yes,
so you've seen him before Dungeons and Dragons. He does have kind of a down the middle sex vibe going on, right?
Nice.
You can tell he's a man or a boy, but like he's definitely what
sort of asexual,
androgynous?
honestly.
Androgynous.
He's androgynous and a little asexual, yeah.
Very scared of everything. He would have worked really well as Bo, and Bo is Afraid. Like I could see him pulling off that role quite effectively. And it starts off with him very young, and a lot of Sundance shots here. Those are like the kind of like the slow pondering, following over the shoulder, like at a amusement park. He's eating cotton candy, and like
this is Sundance fodder. This is Sundance porn.
Yeah, it's Sundance porn for sure. And he doesn't really have a place in the world, and he's got a mom who he seems to be like. Their parents are kind of, they're not neither here nor there. Like a couple of the dads are. His dad, you barely see him for a second, and then it's just from the backseat of the car, and he's kind of scary. And then her dad, you just hear about him. Her dad being the other character, who is a couple years older than our main kid. But it's, first of all, I was angry with you, Avery, right off the bat, because it was produced by Fruit Tree, which I think was a clue, right? Or am I being homophobic?
I think I clued you in.
Yeah, no, I think you clued me. No, but there is, I honestly, I don't think I would have picked up on what it apparently is about, which is, do I even say it now? Or for the people who didn't hear last week?
A listener admitted that they found it helpful.
I think it would have been obvious that it was about sexuality for sure, and finding your sexuality.
Yes.
Finding out what it is. I don't know. And who your inner voice is, and just who you are as a person, and not getting lost in apathy and lost in by trying to escape. So how do you even talk about this movie? Ultimately, they strike up a friendship. He has nothing else in the world. He's doing this thing where we've all done it, or at least Bryan, actually, you probably never did this. Have you ever told your parents that you were going to sleep at a friend's house, and then you go somewhere else, and then you have a night free?
No, of course not.
Did you never do that?
Well, no, why would I? I love my parents. I respect them. I respect their authority. Okay. They're older than me. They obviously know best.
He does that a few times, and it's almost like a nail biter. Like, oh God, is he going to get away with this? Because it's like going up to the door, knocking on the door, and waiting for his mom to leave, but he's not going to stay where he says he's going to stay. So that was like the most, I guess, the most thrill I got out of the movie was that moment.
Yeah,
like, oh.
I was kind of thrown off because one of the genre categories on the AMC app or on Letterboxd, I don't remember which one it was, but it said it was horror. So I kind of went into this thinking I was going to see a little bit more of a straightforward horror movie.
I want to see
doesn't
except for
really have those elements. There's some stuff that's hard to look at. Yeah. That's disturbing, but I wouldn't say it's a scary movie.
So it's a lot of obscure tone and reference, and his relationship with her. But for me, I was just,
and it starts pretty grounded.
I was kind of, I know this movie's not made for me, so I'm treading lightly here. And I feel like the filmmakers made exactly the movie that they wanted to make. I feel like everyone involved pretty much hit the mark, made the movie. They had a very particular idea and a vision, and it seems like they executed that vision. That said, I didn't really respond to much of it. I found it joyless, humorless. I found the two leads to be,
as Bryan would say, charisma free
in a
lot of ways. Yeah.
And I guess that was kind of the point. It kind of had to be that, because the whole point is that they don't really fit into any like part of what is the norm. And I've seen that done before though, but you like them, right? Like they're like punk rock, or they're edgy. And like, I think they were kind of going in that direction with her, but she never did anything for me. There's a point where she's talking about, she changed her name became somebody else, and she looked just like Tig Notaro at that point. So I was muttering to myself, like, she's like, "What's my name?" And then I said, "To Tig." And I found that very amusing, even though it was my own little joke. And that was like the only joke in the movie. And that was something I came up with.
No, there was the first 20 minutes are funny.
What's funny?
They nail the tone of the angsty teenagers and the intentionally bad writing of the show. Like how ludicrous
the 90s show that
like one of the lines from the show is because it's supernatural, and they have this. I'm not going to bother explaining the entire thing, but at one point the character goes, "You're meant for important things," and she goes, "I don't even have a learner's permit. How can I have a destiny?" And the way it was delivered was very cheesy and soap opera intentionally, and I thought they did a good job of lampooning those kind of shows. I thought it was a good send up. I really liked the first 35 minutes where it stayed grounded, and then it becomes very surreal, and I was trying to figure out where it was going for 30 minutes, and then I kind of realized it's not really going anywhere concrete and not going to tell you where we're ending up, and I kind of lost steam.
I think it was more of as much about mental illness and loneliness as anything else. Because I mean, I'm not saying that there was sexual identity choices being made. I'm not saying that the two are one and the same. Obviously, there's a lot of people who I think go through things that aren't mentally ill, and there's a lot of people who are. And I think this movie definitely was at one foot in the mental illness side of things, because the lead girl, like, she was mentally ill, and she had a real hard time trying to decipher reality from her fantasies and the TV show itself. And
yes.
And I had a problem. Like, you'd think that maybe if you weren't spending all your time watching the Pinko Pig, you'd maybe do a little research and find your people, because she wound up in like Phoenix. It's like, no, you don't go to Phoenix if you're looking for your people. You go to like Hollywood or New York.
Going
to Phoenix
or Austin, Texas.
She was mad when she didn't find, like, more people that thought like she did in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Mm.
It also gets into what I thought was interesting is sort of the consequences of whether or not you choose to go on the hero's journey. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's a great point, Avery.
When is this set?
It spans like 25 years.
Yeah, it does. But
30?
most of it's probably 96 to 2004.
Was the end part supposed to be funny? Because I found that somewhat amusing, but I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be.
I don't think so. I think it was supposed to be.
I'm sorry. It's the new medication.
No, and again, I think that is part of what ties it. Okay, so
I wanted to like this movie. I did.
I'm more interested in why people think that what I said was a spoiler, because to me, you knowing that's going to diminish your enjoyment of the film.
No. I mean, if it was so like buried in the plot,
because the way you're talking about it is like if I had revealed the identity of Kaiser Soze. It was like, oh, it's pretty good if you know that this person is Kaiser Soze. That would
no, it's not that egregious. And you're back up against the wall, and maybe I'm a little numb to it because I get accused of that, and so does Bryan quite a bit. But
I'm not even that. I just want to bring it up now because I think it's relevant.
And I don't think, honestly, I don't know if it's even true, Avery. I think that it's more about just sexuality in general than what you had suggested.
It's not. It's about. Can I talk about this? Because it's literally the director is trans.
Okay.
And she wrote this about her experience and during her transition.
Which side was she? What? Who is she in this story? Did she disappear?
She's a lot of people.
I think she related to both characters.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of with Justice. There's a lot of things that imply that about his character, and also there's a lot of stuff that implies that his character's asexual too. There's a lot of stuff that they're touching on with sexuality, and I think that part is about. I think that's why I had a hard time relating to it, is because so often it's about like stuff about persecuted groups, right? Normally, it's about embracing yourself and getting and feeling like that what you are is okay. But this is sort of the opposite, where it's feeling like something is wrong with what I am and I need to change that. And that was hard for me to relate to. Right? And that seemed to be part of the experience inherent in that population as she was suggesting, which is a very foreign concept, I think, to most people, is feeling like, oh no, the right decision for me is to change into something completely different. So I think it
exists and trying to
within you and bringing it out. But a lot of that was about
now.
I think it's not as clear if you're not aware of that element.
You're still defending yourself. That this is all just a soliloquy on you defending yourself. It's
not even. I feel like you
okay,
can't really talk about this movie in a meaningful way without bringing it up.
It's tough to.
And I also don't think it's a spoiler.
I got theories too on things, and I don't know. They could be wrong, but we really can't talk about them without giving a huge.
To me, it'd be like saying, "Oh, a Planet of the Apes." This might help you understand it. It's an allegory. It's an allegory for climate change, and people going, "Oh, I needed to figure that out. That's going to ruin the movie." No, it's not.
The burnout, packing it in too deep. I'll just put it that way. Could that have been like a husband?
Remember
the where she was explaining where she was and what she's been up to, and the burnout, and he packed it in too deep, so she couldn't claw her way out. I'm not saying exactly what it was that they say happened.
Yeah.
But was that like a husband and possibly even a family? Is that what that was?
I don't know. And that was sort of my problem with it, and why I told you that bit of information is because I felt like I needed more facts going into this to help guide me through, because they do very little hand holding. There's next to no hand holding as to what you're seeing.
And when the big reveals are actually happening and transpiring, you don't see them. They're a moment. It's like, and there's a lot of talk, breaking the fourth wall, and we got Justice talking to us as an audience, but not leading us to the water at all. So
yeah.
Ultimately, it was a vibe movie, and it was a movie that was not made for me because I'm a very, very cis white male, and I want to, and I get a little annoyed too, and I'm gonna sound, I won't be shocked if I am upsetting some people, but what are you gonna do? I'm just reacting. This is how I'm reacting to the movie, right or wrong. But I feel like, and I said this last week, and I already took some flack, but maybe it's a movie I shouldn't have even seen, because like I want to be able to understand things better. I want to walk out of a theater and have an experience and be like, I have a better idea now. And I walked out. I was in the lobby a little bit, and I saw a bunch of jocks in the lobby, and I was imagining being that frustrated and that lonely and isolated and fucked up as the characters I saw in that movie, and imagining those jocks who were having a good time if they were like dicks to me for being different. And I had. Yes. But I've already have that. That movie didn't really get me there. I mean, I was in that mind frame because I walked out, but I don't really like the empathy machine. The empathy part it didn't help me. I didn't see things. I don't see things different.
And the movie didn't really help you with that either. There wasn't a ton.
But someone suggested it wasn't made for people to empathize. It was made for that population. So who the fuck am I to say anything, whether I like it or not? So maybe I just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Did you like the musical numbers? I thought you might get a kick out of those.
They were okay. I didn't love them.
I thought Sweet Threesome Andy might have liked him
just because of the nostalgia.
Little punk rock.
Yeah, it's a little on the nose. I mean, some of it felt like, yeah. I feel like they made the movie they wanted to make.
I do too. I don't know who I would recommend this to. I don't think there's a ton of people that I would recommend this to. Not because it's not a great movie, but because it's very, very particular in what it's going for.
Narrow casting.
Yes, and it does not hold your hand at all. It's not going to explain anything to you, and it's entirely up to you to get it. And that's
she was good. She was good. She had a couple of great monologues that one in particular where she was explaining where she had been and whatnot, and that was really well done. It was well executed, and it was hypnotic.
She was my favorite part. Was
the mustache added? Do you think, or is that just hers? What I have some questions.
I don't know.
I guess I could have read some more about it, but
so final verdict. What do you guys think?
You should see this, Brian.
I would not recommend to many people, just like Avery said. But yeah,
I feel like if you already know if this movie is for you.
Yeah, but sometimes movies like that end up being for me, and I do get something, and I didn't really have. I didn't. But I
think if you're very into like surreal movies, if you're into vibes and movies that are very cerebral and sort of ethereal, and tone, and you like the 90s, you like that sort of.
I feel like a couple semi-medium tweaks to this movie, and it could be like getting considered best picture.
Yes, I love the look of it. The look is fucking great.
It felt almost like blue. What did it feel like? Moonlight. It felt like Moonlight in some scenes.
A little bit, yeah. I just wish. I think the movie in there for me would be if this had been a more conventional narrative. And
Yeah.
again, I'm sure that entirely defeats the purpose of what the filmmaker was trying to say.
Pico Peak was so goofy and so over the top and such a throwback and so satirical for that time, poking fun at what was popular at the time. It was hard to take it seriously at all. And I think that's what that was the thing that I had a hard time defeating. So whatever.
I could see that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a lot of time for a mediocre film.
All right. If boy.
I got through that pretty quick. I think If might have been better.
Oh, let's not say that. I mean, I haven't seen. Well, you haven't seen. All right, let's go. By far and away, the best thing that I saw all week was, sorry, Andrew Martin, Devs. But we'll talk about Devs in a bit. Let's
let's talk Frankenhooker.
Let's talk Frankenhooker now. Let's do it.
Frankenhook. Fun title. 1990 film directed by Frank Henenlotter. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Starring James Lawrence and Patty Mullen. This film just keeps on giving. Patty Mullen was a penthouse pet.
Yep.
And now she's a turned actress. Limited IMDb profile. She was in two films. This is 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. Criminally underrated. I watched this on Peacock. Anderson, how did you enjoy Frankenhooker?
I liked it. I liked it just fine. It was actually way better than I thought it was going to be. I've been, I've seen, this movie pops up in the research and I see it from time to time, clips and whatnot. And I always thought it looks just god awful. Not my kind of movie.
It's intentionally schlocky.
It's intentionally schlocky. Troma bought the rights to, or they slapped their name on it actually not too long ago.
It's got a Troma vibe.
But it's not Troma. Again, apparently, Troma's been biting off this guy as well. So they come from the same. They're cut from the same fabric, and it's that punk rock filmmaking, which I ironically love punk rock music, but don't love punk rock filmmaking really at all. That said, this one was fun, and it didn't really upset me too much.
I spent a lot of time this week wondering to myself, this is the type of movie I should hate. I should hate everything about this. And I found myself laughing quite a bit. Almost, I'm not going to say it, but almost Greasy Strangler level. I was having a good time watching this. And it worked. It was better than I thought it was going to be, just like you. And while you have to adjust your calibrations for this, like go into expecting a certain thing, not another thing. If it meets what you're expecting, I think you're gonna enjoy this.
It's got it's almost like an alternate universe where like Psycho Gorman might come into his bedroom at any moment, and like no one would really bat an eye. They'd be like, "Oh, look, Psycho Gorman."
This is not the real world.
No, it's not the real world. But that said, I thought you were gonna get really hung up. So he's got a girlfriend.
No, I enjoyed.
He is like he tinkers with being a doctor, but he's like a hobbyist doctor, right?
He's Dr. Franken.
Yeah, and but he's been kicked out of all the med schools. But
he's clearly a genius, a radical genius, mad genius, perhaps. However, like Anderson said, he has not found his niche in the medical world. We first see him keeping he's keeping a brain alive
with one eyeball
in a mason jar. The brain is sentient. It blinks. It has an eyeball in the brain. It's a brain that flows and has an eyeball, and he has conversations with it. And then his family just writes it off as, "Oh, that's just James, or whatever his name is, being weird."
No asking where the brain came from. Obviously, human brain, right?
That sounds incredibly frustrating as the brain.
Yeah, I would think it looks like a human. It looks like human brain size. I assumed it looks like a human eyeball. Maybe it was a goat. Who knows? But he's got a girlfriend, and here's the big problem I have.
He has a fiance.
I talked to Andrew. It's his fiance. Yes. Is clearly written.
Wait, can we talk about the fiance? Because we're setting up the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right now.
Okay, sorry.
His girlfriend. Then you corrected me.
I thought you moved right past it because I want to talk about.
You want to go talk about the fiance? Get
I want to talk about the fate that befalls the fiance and kicks our film in motion.
Talk about how she becomes Frankenhooker.
I'll simply say that they are enjoying a backyard barbecue, very wholesome. Yeah, it's in New Jersey, and the family's getting together and barbecuing, and the fiance is out there with her parents and Frank or his parents, one or the other. Frank is inside the house playing with his brain, his brain that he keeps.
Mason jar brain, yeah, aquarium brain, yes.
And it's it's their elderly dad's birthday, the middle-aged dad, and for his birthday, they get him a large lawnmower to mow his expansive backyard property. And they're like, look, Dad, we got you like a remote control, like AI lawnmower. And he's like, oh, that's so great. And as he's giving a toast, wouldn't you know it, the fiance is standing with her back to the lawnmower. And it creeps upon her, takes on, starts going on its own, and runs her over tragically, splattering blood all over the barbecue, and literally all through the party goers, and renders her dead.
Yes.
But he is so broken up that he keeps the dismembered parts.
Well, he has plans. He knows he can put her back together. He doesn't know how yet, and he's been researching, and he realized
that's his goal. Yeah, he doesn't know how he's going to do it, but he's
a lot of muttering.
God damn it, I'm going to put her back together.
We pick up a lot in the muttering that we hear when he's like researching. When I'm going to do this.
Yes, he's talking.
Bolts 1 to 8. We need 600 volts. We need electrical storm. We're going to get this done. And he's trying to figure out where he's going to get other body parts for the missing body parts to put her back together. Now,
some were damaged.
Now, the gag that was quite clear in the script, but did not come onto the screen at all, was that he loved her for her face and maybe some other female things that she has to offer, but he thought of her like as an object, and he was put off by how she was overweight. He didn't like.
Sure. That was hilarious. When we first meet the fiance, this is a beautiful woman wearing like the frumpiest clothes ever, trying to explain to the audience that she's overweight.
Which did not translate at all, Avery. Like, they should have had her at least in a little bit of a fat suit or something just to get us there.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a supermodel wearing like frumpy clothes.
So
yeah, you can see plenty of women doing that at Erewhon now. And it's intentional.
Yeah, thought it was like a style. Like you could see it that he thought it was a silver lining that would have been a funnier joke and more. I'm not like asking this movie to be believable, but the joke would have landed better, I think, if he was like, "Oh, finally, I can keep her head and she'll still be in there, but now I can fix this body that I've had problems with all these years." And he's trying to figure out how to get body parts.
Well, Anderson, that would be gauche.
Okay. So ultimately, he succeeds, and there we go, Mutt and Jeff.
And then his mother is attempting to console him, like, are you okay after your fiance got brutally killed at the party? And he goes into a deep, dark confession about how he's having these horrible thoughts, and it's all dark, and he can't recover, and life's over for him. And she goes, "You want to say a sandwich?"
You saw that coming, though, right?
Of course, but I laugh at that stupid shit. That's great.
You do. You really love the dumb humor sometimes. Now, we didn't even talk about Zorro, the pimp, yet.
Well, you guys talk about the titular hookers.
Or the hookers. I mean, we just stop with the titular, Brian. But yes,
he decides that in order to replace.
And I think of it, it's so simple.
All the missing, damaged body parts, but were damaged by the runaway lawnmower.
Right. Brian really, his sense of humor. So he's shopping for hookers. He's shopping for ladies of the night, for sex workers, though
there are swarms of them.
Swarms, yeah. Like, he goes to this part of New York City. He goes over the bridge, and he's in New York City, and he's like aisle shopping almost. Like, I don't like that street. I don't like that style. No,
it is Mardi Gras with hookers on the street. There's
like one John for every 100, maybe one John, one potential.
Pretty good ratio.
And he's very nerdy, and he's just like looking at them like products.
The buyer's market.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He upsets a few of them. But yeah,
he offends their delicate sensibilities.
And Zorro, their pimp, is hilarious and very well cast.
Let me guess, he's African American.
No.
Oh,
he's
Puerto Rican or something.
Puerto Rican, yeah. Big fella. Really, like you could tell that he spent a lot of time in the gym.
I feel like Zorro was cast. The actor was cast for Zorro because of his muscles and less because of his acting chops.
No, I don't think he had much acting, but he didn't have a whole lot to play with or work with either. But even at a certain
point, his hookers are up there in the on the hour by hour motel with our hero, and he's getting more and more upset and more agitated, and he's just pounding his fist as though to signal to the audience, "Hey, something's coming."
He's getting mad. He's getting angry. But yeah, the effects were actually probably the biggest surprise in this movie. I thought it was going to be extra schlocky, and some of the effects were pulled off pretty nicely. And
someone did some work making prosthetics.
A lot of explosions, a lot of exploding bodies, a lot of exploding heads.
Do we talk about my brief Googling? I saw some comparisons to Poor Things.
To Poor Thing. Oh yes, almost forgot to even and didn't talk about this with Andrew, but Andrew had mentioned it. Poor Things borrows so much from this movie. Poor Things is almost, in some respects, almost like a remake in for some scenes.
It's a highbrow remake.
Yes, it's a very, very highbrow remake. But it is,
do we talk about Super Crack?
yeah,
There is some commentary on like the drug wars of the 80s.
Yeah.
Brian loved this movie.
I enjoyed this.
I'm
just
surprised. I thought I was
gleamed.
going to defend it, but yeah, I'm glad you liked it so much.
Our hero decides to lure the hookers with not just money but super crack. They can't resist.
No, they can't.
How could you?
They don't even care about the money once they see the super crack, and it's in a giant Ziploc bag. Avery, it's just a giant, like just giant rocks. They open it up and there's just like huge
rocks, and they're trying to smoke them.
Let's not be crazy. They're more like golf ball size.
They're
like
pretty big.
They're smoking them all over. And he's warning them not to do it. Okay, now we're getting too close to like what would happen if you do smoke the super crack. Super crack. But yeah, this is it was way more fun, way more enjoyable, and way less stomach churning. When I say stomach churning, when I see like bad schlocky making like B movies for the sake of B movies, it just doesn't do much for me. But there was a lot to like, and he was great. Like he was really good. The lead.
He was
really good.
Did you enjoy when people were literally exploding? There were fireworks sounds.
Yes, this would be a good watch along.
Yes, for sure.
This would be a fun.
I enjoyed this.
Maybe we do that.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Do we do that this month? We watch.
Oh yeah, it's on Peacock.
I want to watch because it only has commercials at the top. And then
did you enjoy when he was attempting to recreate his fiance or rebuild, I guess, and
with
literally
all the
like going through a pile of boobs like they're baseball cards?
Yes, he was like, no, that doesn't work. This doesn't work. Yeah, he was really good. He a lot of muttering to himself. He had to do a lot of heavy lifting by himself, as you can imagine, as the mad scientist. I still want to watch Love at First Bite. Maybe
I really enjoyed this.
But yeah, I could tell you really did. I'm happy. You liked it. I thought for sure I was going to be defending it, and I think you liked it more than I did. So
I still think I don't know. I'm wavering. I still feel like it's a 3-star movie because it is so schlocky and it is so bad in a way, but it was so much fun. And I genuinely laughed. Oh no, there he goes. Oh no. Poor Anderson. You all right?
Yeah.
Anderson needs to be rebuilt.
The way you said yeah was not.
It suggests that it's not over.
Sweaty. Guys.
Are you wiping sweat from your brow?
I don't feel good. I don't feel great. Okay. Let's talk about something nice.
Well,
let's take a break.
We gotta go to break.
Episode. Take a break?
Yeah.
Break time. Coming up next. Do we have what are we doing? Devs or something like that? Yeah.
Devs and Happy Feet.
It'll be exciting. Welcome back. Anderson, I already want to save Happy Feet for next week to do the hilarious joke where we come back and do Fanflickssions. I said, I saw a movie by George Miller.
Great. All right, let's do that joke that everyone's just heard.
Anderson's not doing well.
We're gonna have more people next week. Listening because people tune in so you can make that joke not to our core audience. They've already heard it, but
right. But once the word gets out, social media,
people will listen for the joke.
Oh, this is bad news, guys. I have to carry this episode. I mean, that's usually how it goes, but especially bad this week. Oh no.
Okay, go. Let's muscle through.
You want to talk devs?
Devs. How far devs are you?
Is a 2020 TV show. Written and directed by Alex Garland, starring Sonia Mizuno, Nick Offerman, Zach Grenier, Stephen McKinley Henderson, and Allison Pill. 82% Rotten Tomatoes. You can stream it on Hulu. Avery says seems low. I was assigned.
What was it? What is the Rotten?
82.
82.
Avery assigned us episodes 1 through 3. I got through 2, and Anderson assigned me 4, 5, and 6. Being the completionist that I am, I watched 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Right. So you didn't watch it yet?
I caught up.
It's 8 episodes total. So I've seen all 8 episodes. I'm done with the show.
I'm only in for 6.
You get to 6. How do you not need to know? Right? It kind of does have like that. You don't need to know.
It's wavering a little bit. There are elements that I want to know, but now the love story, the relationship stuff is the weakest part of the series, and then there was a lot of it in this last episode.
Watch the whole thing. So it's really taken as you'd imagine an intelligent look at the multiverse and all the things that are.
I'll take over. So Nick Offerman is sort of a Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk style super genius who runs a tech company in Silicon Valley, and you find out through the course of events that there is a secret division, not secret, but a highly secure division within this company called Devs, hence the titular.
Brian.
Anyway, and it is run in a very Alex Garland kind of way, which is tech that doesn't really exist, but it's plausible. And you find out that they are
very near future.
What was that?
Very near future.
Yes, it is a very near future.
I think this is all theoretically possible, actually, which is kind of crazy. I could be wrong on that, but it seems to me like.
But that's sort of always is shtick, right? That's what makes a lot of this all horrifying. That it's not implausible.
Right.
So they use light waves and sound waves that already exist to look at events from the past, all the way back to like Christ on the crucifix. That comes up a lot. And like they're excited because they think they actually have footage, as it were, of like Christ speaking on the crucifix. And you realize that Nick Offerman, as the Svengali of this whole operation, really is only in this to reconnect with his lost daughter and wife who'd befall a tragedy. And I was in the last, I guess, episode 5, probably, they actually show the tragedy, and it's shown in a very interesting way where they show how, and there's a recurring theme that kind of comes out more in the series, but like how, differences in a fraction of a second, or even like, hairs on the head can have
the whole sliding doors thing.
Yeah, they have multiple, pathways throughout time. So you see this horrible thing happen, and then you see it almost happen, and then you see it not happen at all, realizing that it was just that moment in time when it happened. It could have gone other ways had it been for any fraction of a variation.
Now, the through line of this show is an exploration of free will and versus fate, right? And predetermined fate. And does it exist? And that's really what's at the core of this entire show. And the theory is laid out. If you get through the whole thing, you can see where they land on it. And I don't want to say riveted. I still had some misgivings about her. I think she would have been good in another role.
I think she's still the weakest link of the whole thing.
The weakest link, and she's the center, which is unfortunate. I just didn't. I could see some people really responding to her performance, but for me, it was just a little bit too muted, and I didn't need her like freaking the fuck out either. I think that would have been annoying. She didn't really put me in one way or the other, just kind of down the middle. And I would have liked somebody a little more charismatic, I guess.
But one thing I found hard to swallow,
everyone else,
if I was following it correctly, was Nick Offerman as presumably one of, if not the world's richest people, still lives in his residential house in his residential neighborhood. That found weird. That seemed weird to me.
The whole point is, I'm sorry, Brian, I'm coming down on you.
Well, tell me.
Okay, so here's how I interpret that, and this is the correct way to interpret.
Please.
Here's how I am knowing this.
Is he's not much like Zuckerberg is kind of at the end of social networking. We see what his driving motivation was, and is become friends with his ex-girlfriend, right? And this guy's not after power or glory or riches. He's after just one thing. That's his entire driving force. And of course he's going to stay where that one thing was, because he's obsessed with that memory and that life.
Okay. That makes sense. I just find that it was just a weird thing. I enjoyed the effect, like I said, of him and this tragedy. Also, they did the same thing with her in her apartment with multiple lovers, you could say, showing iterations of her life all around her place. I enjoyed that effect.
You like that effect?
I liked it.
Yeah, and that's where they're suggesting that there's multiple multiple, and there's a lot of arguments going. Now there is a big reveal in this, and I'm not patting myself on the back. Perhaps I am, but I saw it coming. I don't know. I would love to talk to you off air, Avery, because I don't think
I would love that you could jog
Right.
my memory because it's been so long since I've
There's
seen
no
it.
way
The
to.
only thing, the
Does it
only
involve
thing
the
I can
homeless
remember.
guys on their porch? Because I'm waiting for him to pay off. He's in there way too much for no reason. Like, oh, this guy's gonna do something. All right. Anderson is
Devs is the best thing I've seen in the last week, and I highly recommend it to anyone who likes the vibe and the tone, and anyone who digs Alex Garland stuff. I mean, you should absolutely watch this. There's 8.
Did Where It Goes, because all I really remember is how I felt and how it affected me after watching the entire thing. I remember being very affected by the end of the show and it getting into some very existential areas that really sort of bent my mind and fucked with me. And it was in the way only Alex Garland can, where it's very sort of disturbing, but also poignant.
Yeah, he closes it.
Yeah.
It's a satisfying ending. He doesn't leave any like loose strings. I liked it very much the way that it ended. Not that it leaves you all warm and fuzzy. That's another thing. Was I saw the TV glow, I just kind of walked out of there feeling empty. But maybe that was the fucking purpose, right? I was very empty and like, yeah. And
but it doesn't. I think that's what it is. It doesn't close the loop. With I saw the TV glow.
Devs closes the loop, and in a very. Just like Ex Machina closes the loop, right? I don't know if he closed the loop with men.
Actually, does Ex Machina? There was a very open-ended ending.
I mean, as far as what goes on outside but not inside, for our main character, we're well aware of how that fate ends.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Who would you say?
Ex Machina too, though. There really could be. Was that?
Would you recommend this to most people?
I think
the Film Vault audience.
The Film Vault audience, I would think, is at least 50% Alex Garland watchers and not devotees, but like, they appreciate what
enthusiasts.
Enthusiast is the word. Thank you, Avery. Like if you like Annihilation, if you like Ex Machina, if you liked Civil War to a lesser extent, because that is kind of an outlier for his work.
Yes.
But the vibe is still very similar, and the vibe and Devs all the way through, and you're going to see a lot of really inventive, cool stuff. It doesn't ever pander to the audience much, and it's that not too distant future that I like. I like that vibe a lot.
Hey, for someone
watch the last 2 episodes. You're gonna like them.
Well, if I'm assigned, I will. If for those of us who don't watch a lot of TV, where does this rank in terms of the great TV of the last 20 years? Like, is this middle of the road? Is this towards the top? Where are we?
That's a tough question. I mean, Avery can maybe take that, but for me, it's a tough question because I don't watch things unless like I'm really pushed to watch them. So most of the stuff that I watch is really good.
I think it depends on what you're interested in. I really, really like this this show. I think it's definitely elevated television. I think it's certainly one of the best sci-fi shows created in the last 20 years. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. In terms of just overall, I absolutely think it holds its own. Is it perfect? No, but it's a 4.5-star show. And I think if she was stronger, I think it'd be 5. I think if they recast her, it'd be 5 stars for me.
Yeah, 4.5 at least. Perhaps. Yeah, it like, I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to like something like Patriot, but I mean, I liked it way more than Beef, which is something I saw not too long ago. I liked it way more than Gen V, way more than Shogun. I mean, it's the best TV show.
I thought Silo was amazing, but I like it more than Silo.
I liked it more than Fallout, which was Fallout. I appreciated it more as it went on. But I mean, it's not The Boys, it's not Succession, it's not Patriot. It's not,
but it is. It's close to Severance. I think Severance might edge it out in a few ways, but it's up there on par with that sort of level of sci-fi. It is elevated sci-fi. So if you really like Alex Garland, you should run out and see this.
I'm a little ashamed that it took me this long to watch it because it's almost 4 years old now.
Fair.
And no one's on. No one's on.
No one's on.
Do you want to save Happy Feet? We're over an hour in this.
Yeah, episode. Sure. Well, I have a lot to say about Happy Feet. I'd rather not try not to throw up. And not since Magnolia have I vacillated back and forth on a movie. Absolute fucking hatred of the movie. To like, wow, this movie's way better than I could have ever imagined. To what the fuck am I watching? I want to it felt like bugs were literally crawling on me. The cringe was so intense at times, Brian.
Wow.
I felt like
I agree. I mean, I think I have the same reaction as you on a smaller scale.
I go pretty hard. Okay. Let's take a quick break, come back to, I found my dystopian, and we'll do that. And
yeah, coming up next, top 5 post-apocalyptic movies after this. Hey, welcome back. Time to count down our top 5 post-apocalyptic movies. Sharing some DNA with some dystopian films, which we did a list in 2011 and then updated in 2020. I have both lists, and because I'm a purist, even though some of my dystopian films are in fact post-apocalyptic, there will be no crossover from my list, even though I'd love to talk about Snowpiercer or the Book of Eli. I'll not talk about any of those.
Are you gonna say what your list was?
Yes. In 2011, I had a tie
Yes.
number 5 between RoboCop and V for Vendetta. Number 4 was Book of Eli. Number 3 is I Am Legend. Number 2 dystopian film was Dark City, and then number 1, far and away, was Wall-E. And we updated in 2020. Number 5 was The Road. Number 4 was Elysium. Number 3 was Snowpiercer. Number 2, underrated, Equilibrium, which I think you might have assigned to me. And number 1 was, of course, Mad Max Fury Road.
Equilibrium, people love, and I don't know why.
Oh, really? I
It's-
liked it a lot.
It's extremely good if you see it when you're a 12-year-old boy. That's how
Which
I
I-
saw it, and
which I
it burned
professionally
into my
am.
brain.
If you don't know Matrix exists,
Yeah,
it's
yes.
probably better.
That's right.
If you see this before, seeing this before the Matrix is key, because this
Oh,
will
yeah,
blow your
seeing it
fucking
after is a real
mind,
problem.
and then you'll see the Matrix and go, "This is even better."
Yeah, I think that was a problem as I saw it. I remember a listener was furious because I when I flicked fast it years ago. He's like, I will never ever listen to the show again. That's my favorite movie. Fuck yourself. I'm like, oh. I'm
We
like,
missed that guy.
You're gonna get a lot of that with I Saw the TV Glow.
I might. I'm feeling like I might. I know that my take is wrong. Well, not wrong. It's just what my take is, right? Ironically, I'm being true to myself and not pulling punches, and and that's what the whole movie is about. It's like you got to be true to yourself and not go with the fucking flow.
I don't think you're wrong for saying the movie's not for me, but it's still a good movie. I mean, they set out it's a good movie. They set out to make what they wanted to make. It's just not for me. Just like there's kinds of food I don't eat. It's not for me.
A lot of
But I get why you eat it.
All right. Dystopian. I only have my list, I guess, from the original time, and that was this is unbelievable. I've changed a lot, I guess, but I had Westworld at number 5. Number 4 was Death Race, 1975's Death Race. Westworld, 1973's Westworld over there. You got The City of Lost Children, 1995, and then somehow I had Idiocracy, 2006, behind Gattaca, which is a great movie, but I mean, Idiocracy is obviously number 1 on my list. I think I was going with Gattaca's a better movie, well executed. Tell the filmmaker adept at
all the films that I discussed, The Road, Elysium, Snowpiercer, Equilibrium, and Mad Max Fury Road, all came out after that list. So there were some good dystopian films in the last.
I don't know where my most recent list is. Sure, I could find it if I dug. I don't know. For a while there, I was just doing handwritten lists. So I might not even have copies of records, man.
It was a Patreon update too, so who knows how seriously you took it.
Oh, it was Patreon. Well, that explains a lot. I always take my Patreon list just as serious as I can't half-ass anything, Brian. Come on, you know that. All right, let's go. Let's get into this.
No, I like my list, so that's doesn't mean it's good. It just means I like it.
The two that I'm talking about, I think and one was I've already heard on your list, right? So, like, I mean, am I wrong for not having Mad Max on any of my lists?
No, I mean it's understood by our audience. I think that that is a film that is well regarded by you and I.
Same with James
You and me.
Cameron. Is it okay to not have a James Cameron movie on my list?
Yeah. Yes, of course. Especially if,
It should be like one or two, right? Like just
if you're talking about a Terminator film, like the majority of the action takes place in our modern day society, even though the premise is a dystopian wasteland. I'm okay with that.
Okay, it's not on my list, and I went in much different direction. So
Number 5 from you, me. What do you want?
Yeah, I'll take it. So you could have the end one there.
Nice.
And number 5 for me is a movie I didn't really even enjoy, yet it's very interesting, and I think more people should be aware of it. And that's A Boy and His Dog, 1975. Brian, A Boy and His Dog. You familiar with this A Boy and His Dog?
I thought it was called I Am Legend.
No, This is about a boy and his dog.
You don't say.
Dystopian. It's a post-apocalyptic future,
The titular.
and the young man and his telepathic dog when they wander a post-apocalyptic wasteland, directed by L.Q. Jones, and the boy is Don Johnson. Jason Robards
Hey,
is also in here, and they're in search of food and sex, and
nice.
not necessarily in that order either. And
All right.
Don Johnson's like a 17-year-old horned up post-apocalyptic boy, and he's talking to his dog, and the dog's voice bugs me quite a bit. And there were supposed to be like some funny jokes in there, but they weren't great, I don't think. But this movie gets pretty intense and dark at times, and I remember being really thrown off because the lead, played by Don Johnson as the boy, like one of the early scenes, he's very upset because he thought that he found a girl that he could possibly mate with, but some other like raider came in and like cut her up
Oh,
face, and he's like, oh, you didn't have to cut her up. I mean, like, he had just zero empathy, right? He was just like mad that this girl
sex object is now gone.
right, or now disfigured, right? So but it is an interesting look at what the 70s saw as the post-apocalyptic future. Also, it's supposed to be, here's the tagline, or here's the poster. The year is 2024.
Oh, we're here.
A future you'll probably live to see. How do you think a 75-year-old man feels looking at that poster on the wall, walking through the lobby?
Yeah,
I think he's very happy about that.
That's ambitious.
1975, 50 years from now, he won't be. So this is obviously aimed right at teenagers, I would imagine. A boy and his dog, an R-rated, rather kinky tale.
I gotta get a dog.
An R-rated, rather kinky tale of survival.
Rather kinky.
Rather kinky. It's very of its time. A boy.
That seems like a problematic way to describe it.
A boy.
It feels like this would be a good watch along.
No.
There's a lot of room for us to talk.
I mean, you can definitely. You know what? I remember. Fuck. I think this is the movie George Miller saw. Yes, this is the movie that George Miller saw and said, you know what? I'm going to do something as well. This is the movie. This was the precursor. This was the inciting film that created the Mad Max.
This is hipster Mad Max choice.
This is hipster Mad Max. This is that's what this is. Seeing a young Don Johnson's pretty fun though.
Speaking of the year 2024, my films, I have put them in order of farthest away to nearest to us in terms of a dystopian post-apocalyptic future. My number 5 takes place, well, they never say the exact year, but they allude to it being 1,000 years after the 7 days of fire. Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind, 1984, written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki. Like I said, it's 1,000 years after the 7 days of fire, which was an apocalyptic war that destroyed civilization and the Earth's environment. Remember, creating the toxic jungle that in which humongous mutated creatures roam.
Mostly bugs. I like how the medieval times usually makes it back in, right? Like they're like, why don't we just go all the way back and bring that back, right?
Meaning
like,
what?
Around. What?
Meaning what?
In Nausicaa, like they all look like knights, and they're wearing like.
Oh, sure, yeah. That's a common
knighthood.
theme. Like once humanity or civilization has fallen, we revert back to our, medieval ways or primordial ways.
I guess it's because smithing is like easier than like some of the more modern weapons, right? What was that?
Well, it's a great quote from Einstein where he says, "I don't know what weapons we'll fight World War III with, but the war after that will be fought with sticks and stones."
Huh.
Pretty good, Einstein. That dude is smart. That guy, he had some thoughts. How many people do you think though were living or alive now or were alive during Einstein's day, and they knew they were smarter than him, but they just they didn't have the publicist? Those people were probably Pitter. Right, very
probably not that many, but of those people, yeah.
I bet there was quite a few, right?
I mean, he started as a patent clerk, and they found him. I feel like the cream rises to the top. Yeah,
I enjoyed his role in Oppenheimer.
All right, one that I
just the guy who wouldn't participate.
He's like, no, I'm out of here. All right, so there's a movie called Junkhead, Junkhead. Which this is the only movie on my also list that I've not seen. I got 5 movies that I've not seen that I came across while doing the research.
Oh yeah, I forgot this wrinkle.
This is the only movie that I want to see, that I need to see, I think. And it's a Japanese 2021 Japanese stop motion animation science fiction movie
Jesus.
that looks.
This is the most hipster choice in the history of the show.
It's not a choice, right? Look up Junkhead and tell me. Okay, Avery, I can't rely on Brian. Both of you guys look up Junkhead and tell me you don't want to see fucking. It looks marvelous, and it looks a lot like a Mad God, but less evil, less intense, and more fun probably. In a distant future, humanity has lost its ability to reproduce. An expedition is sent to an underground city where artificial humanoids are still fertile. Oh, fucking robots! I want to see this movie.
I do like the art direction.
Yes, right. It's good stuff. You hit the push play on the trailer there.
Give me a refresher on Mad God. I almost pulled the trigger on that, but I couldn't remember how fucked up and upsetting it was.
It's fairly upsetting. It leaves you like, I still think of Mad God sometimes and go, and I just have, I go, but it's really like a man's descent into hell. And
okay,
here's the catch: like, it's all stuff that pretty much exists on Earth. So he's like,
oh my,
hell on Earth. And there's like bugs. Like every time I got step on a bug, I'm like, that's Mad God right there. I didn't mean to do it. Like, I was playing catch with Atticus in a park and with my dog Coda a couple days ago, and I went over to get the ball, and I heard him running behind me, and I'm like, careful about the stink bug, and I heard it just pop, and I'm like, fucking Mad God. Like that's something that would have happened to Mad God. There are so many lives that are just destroyed by things walking around. They don't give a fuck, and that's how it is. All right, so Junkhead looks pretty.
Yeah.
I think I made the right decision.
I might be into Junkhead.
Junkhead looks tight.
Now the rest of them, the rest of them, I can't. Well, except for Sex Mission. Now, Sex Mission might be another one that I think I want to see. Sex Mission is it was Poland's biggest box office success. Right, came out in 1984. And it's two scientists who are placed into listen, this might sound familiar, placed into a 3-year hibernation. But when they wake up, it turns out to be 50 years later. And they are the only two males in a new underground society composed exclusively of ladies.
Nice.
Sex Mission. That's a post-apocalyptic movie there. It's a comedy, sci-fi adventure.
I'm in.
I can only imagine what happens. All right, so those are two that I've not seen that I came across in my research here. However, A Rain of Fire is one that I have seen. South
Park should remake that, except for the two guys are gay.
Oh, that'd be great. It's almost like the breaking the glasses. Yes. Oh, that's great. Oh no, do I have to go to right group or Sue?
You might.
All right, so Rain of Fire is my my actual number 4. 2002's Rain of Fire. Fuck to the yes with this movie. This movie amps you up. I love this movie.
Still not seen.
Really?
Yeah, Rain of Fire is tight.
It is super tight, and it's a post-apocalyptic future where we have dragons raining down on us. Yep.
All right.
Got a couple dragons. Got some dragons raining. Starring Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey, and it was directed by Rob Bowman, and it delivers. This movie's great. It's a whole lot of fun. However, the original poster, I don't see it online anymore, but the original poster that they had all over God's creation back when they're doing the media push for this movie, back when it came out, they had a Black Hawk helicopter fighting a dragon, which I was very excited to see, even though I'm not much of an action guy. I'm like, that's going to be a sweet scene. No Black Hawk helicopters in the entire
Really?
goddamn. Yeah.
I'm glad that's gone. That just direct misleading bullshit is gone.
Yeah, like people hanging from the Golden Gate Bridge. That's not going to happen in this film.
In what? Wait, it happened in a movie we just saw. Oh, one of the funnier lines that they used in the marketing of the Fall Guy was not even in the movie, where like he's talking about what he's into and he's like talking and stuff.
Oh, and My Life is for People. One Love, they do that. That whole interview is not in there for the most part.
Yeah, they're still doing it. But I guess they're not doing it. They're not doing it with static with the posters anymore. Maybe they're ashamed. Yeah. YouTube does it so much and so often. It's so fucking horrible and gross how they trick like 5 and 7-year-olds into watching their bullshit YouTube. Watch this entire canoe get swallowed up by a blue whale, and it's like really bad Photoshop. I hate it. Okay, you know what I'm talking. All right, Rain of Fire, number 4.
Rain of Fire. I want to see this.
You should watch it. It's very, very fun.
Number 4.
Great watch along.
It's not. Hurt myself at the gym. I was on the years ago. I was on the treadmill, and I was flipping the channels, and it came on, and I was getting so into the battle sequences that I was going too hard. I had to slow down, hold a hamstring.
Number four, a movie you and I both find a bit underrated. I'm talking about a film that takes place in the year 2500 from 1995, Waterworld, directed by Kevin Reynolds. Yeah, that's right, Waterworld. The world's oceans, Anderson, have risen almost 25,000 feet. They've covering every continent in water. The surviving humans, the few that they are, they live in floating communities of boats and ships.
Yep. Yeah, this movie did take it on the chin because of all the lead up and the negative coverage of the bloated budget. But still, the movie
It was $100 million.
It took itself way too seriously for what it was.
Oh, I disagree. This movie has a great sense of humor about itself.
I don't think
This movie's
that
tongue-in-cheek.
I don't think that Kevin Costner shares that opinion.
You know what? He may have seen to it that his scenes were very heroic.
He may have. I think if it was cast with somebody else, I think I would really, really like this movie. I think
it's not bad.
It's Kevin Costner just thinking that it's something that it's not.
Everything with Dennis Hopper works and works.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it was good. That was really good.
Are you excited for Costner's new journey?
No, of course not.
Oh, it looks really bad. It looks really awful.
You know, there's 2 of those coming out this year, right?
Yes, I think I did read that. There's too much Costner in the world. There's too much Costner.
For a total of 4.
Like a part 1, part 2, Kill Bill style?
Kind of, yeah. It's supposed to be like a 4-movie epic Western.
How could Costner files out there? I know we got Puddle's Pity Party. He sings like an ode to Kevin Costner with like slideshow and all on his live show, on his stage show. If you ever go see Puddle's Pity Party, and I think a lot of like older moms love Kevin Costner.
Well, let's not forget, and this is not exaggeration. There was a period of time, including Waterworld, Kevin Costner was the biggest star in the world.
After Dancing with Wolves, and then I don't know how long it lasted.
Nope, it was Dancing with Wolves. It was The Bodyguard. It was huge, massive. But it was top 10 selling album of all time. That movie was a fucking phenomenon. And there was Robin and Prince of Thieves, which was possibly before.
Fuck, that's bad. That is so bad.
But it was a huge hit. And then fucking Waterworld kind of wrapped that up.
I have seen so little Kevin Costner by sidestepping.
Oh,
but
JFK. That was huge. You're right. He was like, he had a decade of just top tier. At least 5 years.
But he's all over the place. I just don't see like Yellowstone. I just can't with him on the.
So he did Yellowstone to get the money and get the ability to pay for this Western trilogy that's coming up. That was his trade with the studio, apparently.
What's the name of it? It looks like So Tired and More.
It does.
Avery, sorry, while you're looking that up, when you're done with that, look up Costner's run. I think it started with Field of Dreams, and then Dance with Wolves, of course, and pretty much ended with Waterworld.
He's like more low key Kenneth Branagh for me. Like he takes himself so fucking seriously. And
so Costner put up $38 million of his own money for Horizon, an American saga. And he just got, yesterday, he just got 7-minute standing ovation at Cannes.
Dude, that movie is going to make him so much money. That's going to corner the market on old people.
But where are they going to, I guess they can, you know what? That might be the last place where money is to be made is honest people who pay for their movies are not young, right?
Wait, what do you mean? Like the sneaking in?
No, like they're not going to theaters. The old people, are they? I guess they did for Top Gun.
For this, they would.
They're going to be watching. They're going to be getting subscriptions. They're going to be buying. They're going to be renting if they can figure it out. Like the baby boomers are the last bastion of people who actually pay for and respect.
But the baby boomers is the market.
Okay, hold on. I'm setting my.
I'm telling you, that movie's going to make a lot of money.
It's gonna crush. Are you ready to hear your run, Brian?
Yeah, from Dance with Wolves in '89, he probably had. Go ahead.
Dance with Wolves is in 1990.
There you go.
Sorry,
I'm thinking of Field of Dreams. Sorry, Field of Dreams.
Yes, good save.
Thanks.
And Bull Durham in '88.
Oh yeah, you're right. Good call.
And The Untouchables in '87. No, he was killing it. So after Dancing with Wolves,
you know what though? He needed help in Untouchables. That was a Sean Connery, like that. He wasn't like
that was at least a two-hander.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't get the help because that movie blew.
It was
De Niro.
The movie's not good. There was one good scene in that movie.
And it's the baseball bat scene.
Baseball. And then the other scene, like the Battleship Potemkin that he ripped off and did with the baby carriage going down the stairs, like doesn't hold a candle to the original. It's just like, why are you redoing something that's fucking cinematic gold and making it cheese? Get it out of here.
I saw you were about to say it.
Top 5 rehash. So Dance with Wolves, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves,
Yep.
JFK. Then we moved to 92 where he did The Bodyguard. 93, A Perfect World. 94.
Like Perfect World fucking rules, by the way.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Does
great.
it?
Yeah,
Is
I
it
love
good?
it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
think it
it
was on
fucking
the-
rules, but it's good.
It fucking rules, Brian. Fuck to the S with the Perfect World. Let that be said.
I think Costner's on the losing end of this one. In 94, he did Wyatt Earp. Not as good as Tombstone.
No, remember they're fighting too over like the costumes, and Tombstone lost like every battle. That was another reason why I've picked up little nuggets about Costner that make me dislike him over the decades. And
Were you the
that was
one?
one of them.
Were you the one telling me, Anderson, that on the set of A Perfect World, directed by Clint Eastwood, Costner was like giving a lot of tips on directing? He's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, I did hear that. I've heard a lot of things. Also, I think there was like footage of him backstage at Madonna's concert or something, and like she had just finished like some,
Oh, yeah. That's in her documentary.
It wasn't in her introduction.
Although, yes, I
And he
believe
meets her and he
so.
goes, "Yeah, that was neat." It's like, fuck you, Costner. Like it's her fucking life's work. Neat. Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. Fuck yourself. Yeah, I don't think I could hang with that man.
No. Then he was in The War. Then 95, Waterworld.
The
96.
Okay,
Tin
Brian.
Cup.
5-minute diatribe about the war, not
And then
John Avnet.
lastly, 1997's The Postman, which ended the run.
That stuck a fork in it. I think you're right, though. It took a bad turn at the Wyatt Earp.
that delivered the yeah. Okay. Maybe he still works so much. I wonder if his eyes gonna pop out. Like what's his name?
Who?
Who's the guy that's like the Wheel of Fortune guy now?
Wheel of Fortune guy? Pat
Yeah,
Sajak?
Pat Sajak?
No. Like the new Wheel of Fortune guy, the guy that gets every single job. Hey, he's like the morning guy out. He's got morning
Seacrest?
Seacrest, right? Yeah, Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, yeah.
Did his eye pop out?
His eye popped out from working too much.
It
I had
did?
not
What?
heard that.
Yeah, it did.
What?
That is news to me.
His eye popped out of his head. No, look it up. He was working so much. That man does not know how to stop. He says yes to every fucking gig that comes his way.
I had not heard this.
He's the safest bet in show business because he's so milquetoast and good and professional. The man's a talent, but so unoffendable. And his eyeball popped out. It did. All right, number 3.
Is this recent?
Hey, is he fucking with us?
No,
I don't know.
It popped out.
When?
All right, Avery, Google Seacrest.
I did. What are you talking about?
It said nothing about that.
I mean, it said he thought he might have had a stroke on American Idol 4 years ago. Or some people thought he did.
All right. Did you type in eye popped out?
Yes. Ryan
Ryan
Seacrest eyeball.
Seacrest.
I don't know where to go with this.
I don't either. I don't.
Eyeball popped out. All right. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, there it is. Eye injury. Some thoughts Ryan Seacrest had.
Is this some Richard Gere gerbil bullshit?
Okay, I'm kind of seeing it.
Do an image search.
But this is old. This is like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's breaking news, but his eye popped out. I think he's on TV when it happened. Like it popped out. It wasn't like dangling on his cheek, like some kind of.
I definitely
Matt
want
God
to heard
effect.
about that. If there was
happened.
footage.
It happened on TV.
Wait, I got this. I think I
Right?
found the footage. I think I did. God damn it. Play. Fucking play, YouTube. God
Hey,
damn
listeners, I know I
All right.
requested some listener art last week. This week, I want to see Anderson working so hard, selling houses, doing podcasts,
No,
picking up his kid. His eyes popped out of his head.
no, we need Daniel Plainview, played by what's his name? Okay, Love and Monsters is my number 3. Number 3 for me is Love and Monsters. Fucking love this movie. Caught up with it not too long ago. I didn't see it when it first came out, but Love and Monsters is a treasure. It's one of the few movies that's almost 2 hours long where it ended, and I was bummed. I was like, "Come on, I want more! I want more of that." Love and Monsters, directed by Michael Matthews. More importantly, written by Brian Duffield. and starring Dylan O'Brien, Jessica Henwick, Michael Rooker's in there. Do you remember this one, Brian? We flick fested together.
Vaguely, yeah. What? I mean, obviously, it's a zombie movie, right?
It's a monster movie because it's right there in the title. It's love.
No, I thought that. Okay, refresh my memory.
So yeah, it's a monster apocalypse, not a big one. And Joel, he's kind of like an everyman, and he's not the type of guy that would think you'd think that would be a hero. And he goes out looking for the girl, the love of his life. Right, he's real innocent.
He's the only one not getting laid in his vault.
Yeah, so he needs to go find his lady, but there's monsters everywhere in between him and her, and he has to deal with them along the way. And they're really fun fucking monsters, and there's blood and guts. It pulls some punches. It's PG-13, but boy, was it fun. And each monster was like a new type of monster. It was just a really fun hero's journey.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at my notes now.
Love and Monsters by Brian Duffield. Like I said, he wrote it, and then of course he also brought us Spontaneous, which is Brian's favorite movie he's never seen.
Enjoyed.
He would love Spontaneous so much. And what else? He did another one. Oh, The Babysitter, which Florence had us watch. And Divergent. Oh no. Okay. Well,
Divergent.
all right. I pop out. You watch the footage?
I did. I had to turn it off because I didn't know how to feel.
All right. Here's another movie that I'm bringing to you guys that I have not seen, but I stumbled across it. This movie is called Dance to Death. All right. It is a Russian film made, got released in 2017. And if you go on IMDb and just put Dance to Death in there, you'll see that not quite 1,000 people have rated this on IMDb yet. It ranks at 2.9. So the people that did see it did not like it. And you see the still
Not a good sign.
and you think, oh, it's of course not many people liked it because it's a cheesy little like zero budget movie. Then you push play on the trailer and it's not what you'd expect at all. It's high fucking budget. There's a lot of money put in this thing. The effects are good. And I'm kind of fascinated with this movie. Here's the story. Moscow, 2070s. In a sealed bunker in the post-apocalyptic ruins of Moscow, young people struggle against each other in a deadly dancing tournament. Only the winners will live. Look at the fucking footage, though. It's like a real movie. I could see this getting released in the US. It looks as good as a lot of the schlock that they shovel our way, but the premise is so absurd. Dance to Death, a Russian looking to the future.
What's absurd about that?
But I was kind of shocked at just how much money this thing cost and how well it was not received. All right, so that's my my little extra dance to death. We'll be watching.
Number 3 for me.
I would love to watch some of these as watch-alongs, but we learned the hard way that we can't watch foreign language films because of the subtitling, and
that's true.
It's hard to read.
What was the Japanese film you had us watch?
House.
That was it.
It was tough, yeah.
Number 3 for me is a film, Anderson. It spans time. So not all of it takes place in the future, but one of the 6 segments does. And much like your experience you described earlier, where you're like, half the time I think it's brilliant, half the time like, what the F am I watching? I've come to love this movie, despite its obvious flaws. Talking about Cloud Atlas, where the 6th segment of the story takes place in 2321, or quote 106 winters after the fall, where tribes people on a post-apocalyptic Hawaiian island are some of the last human survivors on Earth. Tom Hanks is one of them. It's unclear what the exact apocalyptic event was, but humanity is dying. They must find a new off-world place to resettle, and whatever human survivors there are, there may be, they're scattered throughout the galaxy. And Halle Berry comes as a sort of evolved species to these tribesmen and attempts to use their satellites.
Directed by the Wachowski siblings and
people.
Tom Tykwer, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Director of Run Lola Run. Yeah, Brian, I don't know why you're trying to fool me in the audience by saying you've come around on this when you loved it.
No.
You've been a Cloud Atlas apologist since the beginning.
I liked parts of it in the beginning, and I realize now that it's a brilliant masterwork.
You know, Fury Road, you know, Morton Joe, he had the one giant like machine of a man son who's out on the quest.
Yes.
Who like rips the engine out, and then
the one diminutive son.
the one that's like back at home and he's like a little blob guy, right? And
Yeah, he's like a wad of cookie dough.
that's how I feel. I caught a glimpse of myself on the camera just now. That's kind of how I'm lying. He's always laying back.
Yeah, see, he's in a reclining position always.
That's what I feel like, and that's kind of what I look like, right? Always reclining, perpetually reclining. That kid is. I felt bad for that kid when
I don't
they
think he has a choice.
No, he doesn't. I'm gonna prop him up.
I think I got to see Cloud Atlas.
No, I don't think you
Avery,
do.
you might have your life changed.
I think I got to see it.
Jupiter ascending level of
No,
usual-
no,
very similar, Brian.
no.
Very Sims. Sorry,
Wrong.
who did
Avery, take an edible and set aside 3.5
you
hours.
can't throw drugs in it. That's not fair.
It'll enhance your enjoyment.
Watch Tom Hanks try to prove to everyone that he's even a better actor than you thought he was.
Who, Tom Hanks?
Roles, yes. I felt like I was watching really, really expensive SNL throughout most of that movie.
Everyone in this movie is fucking doing work,
They're all
including
working.
Keith David.
All right, number 2 for me has already been met.
I gotta see it. I gotta see
Avery,
if it's streaming.
please, I beg you.
I gotta see if it's streaming.
Are we taking a break, dude? It's like 3 hours long. Are you still unemployed?
We'll see. This might. I'm gonna stay unemployed just to keep watching.
It might be over 3 hours.
Oh, it's only 2:45.
What?
He was so sanctimonious and took it
No,
so fucking seriously and thought that it was so profound.
that's true.
Yes,
That is true. It's like
it's like
more
you thought Matrix. You thought the Matrix was profound.
No, this
I
is a
thought it
more
was eye-opening.
fantastical Magnolia.
I think that's fair.
Huge cast, big ideas.
Avery might like it. He's got some terrible taste sometimes with the walking greedy love.
Oh, that's good.
Avery, come over. We'll watch this together.
Are we taking a break here? Let's take a break.
Is this
Yeah, we
streaming?
should. It's on Paramount Plus.
Oh, I'm watching it after this. Coming up next, we'll do a little Amazon and then get back to our list. Post haste.
Why you gotta say post haste? I'm sorry.
Time now for the. Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead. I was just apologizing. Not fair that I'm
Oh
so
my God.
sorry.
Are you
Go ahead.
dying?
No, I'm just fucking. I'm sick. I'm sorry.
Time now for the.
I apologize. Start over.
Time now to read off the interesting and notable purchases made through the Amazon link over at AndersonBryan.com. Just a reminder, if you're headed for the shopping aisle over at Amazon.com, it's a website where you can buy things. You go ahead and head over to AndersonBryan.com. There's a link. It costs you nothing. You click that. You just do your regular shopping, and it tracks what you buy and gives us a couple of pennies based on how much you spend. You might think, not a big deal. I'm only getting like $10 item. It adds up, and we are within reach of our bonus this month, though. So thank you all for supporting the show. We appreciate the effort. Things purchased on that Amazon banner include a 13-inch Apple iPad Pro, 5 rather super high-yield toner cartridges, a Dyson Supersonic hair dryer. What is that? An Amazon Fire 43-inch 4K UHD TV, Apple iPhone XR, Sucktone A-frame 5-step aluminum ladder, Blulu 4-piece wall display panels, 4 Porter cable heat guns, Sirui, carbon fiber monopod, Dolphin pool cleaner, 60-foot cable for your pool cleaner, Silent Night with a K, Silent Night, that's good, security service or system, input module, Nikon Pro Staff binoculars, the Smith Soundtrack sunglasses, Isopure protein powder. Someone got themselves a Bissell Clearview vacuum, 4 ZM-Tech flagpole is very patriotic, hopefully. 20 Cable Matters 3-foot USB 3.0 cables. 3M adjustable monitor stand was picked up, as were Nestle Nespresso capsules, dark roast flavor. Coleman Triton 2-burner camping stove, Razer Kraken gaming headset, and finally, someone got themselves some Genuine Joe soap. Nailed it.
A Morton Joe soap.
Genuine and Morton Joe. I'm gonna go pee, so read slowly.
Here are the movies that were clicked through since the last time I talked at you. Somebody clicked through and got Girlhood. Fuck yeah, Cop Car. Fuck to the S of the Cop Car. Somebody got It. It doesn't say chapter 1, so maybe it's like the Jack Tripper It.
Little Tim Curry.
Somebody clicked through and got The Coffee Table, as well as Madam Web. Thanks, Gio, for clicking through. The Last Stop in Yuma was clicked through, as well as Silver Haze. Dragon Slayer just came up last week, remember? And Brian and I got in a fight about it being like kind of interesting. Like, I thought, like, is it a Dragon Slayer or is it Dragon's Lair? And Brian didn't seem to understand that was clever. Avery, you're not supposed to click through in your own show, but thanks for getting Lord of the Rings.
Fuck to the yes.
Hobbit motion picture trilogies. It's always
Fuck to the no.
That's always a problem when the word is trilogies. That's a lot of trilogies. At least 6 movies. Extended and theatrical 2 sets. Probably very heavy. It's probably very heavy. And somebody also clicked through and got finally Dune Part 2, 4K Ultra. HD Steelbook. It could survive a worm swallowing and passing, apparently.
This is like if Mr. Plinkett did Quaaludes and was from Venice, California.
I'm so like I'm just like, this is what I would sound like with no, like, you're not trying to like fight anything, you know, like, it's just like, this is what I would.
Yeah. Do you ever do that thing when you feel really shitty or tired where you just look at yourself in the mirror and don't try to make your face look nice at all and just go, what would I look like? What do I look like naturally?
That's what I was just doing with that read. Like, if I put no energy into the muscles in my face,
this is what it would be.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
You just,
and it looks
you
like
just
you're
had
acting,
to see
but
it.
you're not. You're just letting
No.
go. Yeah.
And somehow satisfying, or you just go, yeah, I knew it.
Fuck it, just let go.
I knew I felt bad. There it is.
Oh yeah. You're like vindicated and you're
Yeah.
All right.
Like just one moment of not trying. Let me not try for a minute.
Well, thanks everybody for listening to the program. Back to the program.
All right, what up? We're back. Time to finish up our lists.
What up? We're back. What's up, yo?
New Brian.
Anderson scripted that for me.
All right, where are we at? I think I'm on my number 2. My number
Please, yes, 2 for you.
2 for me.
Two for
start with
you.
the movie that I did see or didn't see. Doesn't matter because my number 2 is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. That movie really found a home here on the film vault. How far we've come, Brian. Can you imagine us 10 years ago looking into the future, hearing into the future, and hearing us both having something called Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind?
I would have many questions.
So many questions. We both would. We'd be like, we are familiar with that movie. Well, how in the world is that? I don't know. How have we seen that movie? But yes, we are fans. We are fans.
We've come to enjoy.
There's another movie that I want to talk to you kids about. Nausicaa's already been talked about, so perfect.
You're experiencing Nausicaa right now.
This is another Russian film. It's my last Russian film on my have not seen list. This reminds me a little bit of Cloud Atlas
Shrugged.
Cloud Atlas Shrugged, yeah.
This is a little Cloud Atlas meets Jupiter Ascending.
They're nothing like each other.
Very similar. I want everyone to go type into IMDb Cosmoball. All one word, Cosmoball. Take a look at what we have here. An enormous spaceship hovers over Earth. This is a stadium which hosts sports events that resemble soccer, but at mind-boggling speeds. The name of the game is...
Oh, fuck this. Fuck this so hard.
Look at it. Look at it. It's another one of these high.
This is like If combined with Rollerball. Fuck this movie.
It's totally Rollerball. It's absolute ripoff of Rollerball. But it's once again, it's a high like production value movie.
What the hell is this?
It's Cosmoball. Look at the poster, Brian. Look at it. It makes, you know what the poster does? It makes Oh, if I could only.
It looks like the Power Rangers playing Spaceball.
That's what it was. It looks like it makes the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers look fucking sweet. That's how bad this poster is. But look at it. Are you looking at the trailer? Are you watching the trailer and seeing the things occurring in the movie?
Oh, it's bad. The shitty little red guy. Oh,
the shitty
terrible.
red guy. I kind of dig the shitty little red guy.
I got no
Like
problem.
a face hugger, like a lovable face hugger. All right, so this movie, Cosmoball, I had no idea it existed before the research for this here episode. I thought I would bring.
I mean, how would you?
I thought I'd bring it to all. I'm really genuinely surprised that Russia's putting this much money into. And these are the bad ones. I guess that they probably have some good ones over there as well.
Would it surprise you the Rotten Tomato score is 52? Oh, wait a minute. That could be the people score, though.
I like the big fluffy panda. He looks pretty good.
There's some good looking stuff in this movie. It's like they're like, hey, we want to do Marvel too, but we don't have Marvel, so we will do this.
We'll do Cosmoball. Fuck, I gotta see Cloud Atlas and Cosmoball.
You got to see one of those.
Oh, Christ.
Avery, look, I can't look up the Rotten Tomato score for fear of seeing
For Cosmoball?
Yeah, what's the actual score?
Cosmoball on Rotten Tomatoes. There are no critics, official
no.
critics. It's just the audience.
Oh, dear.
All right, what's your number dos, brah?
A film that doesn't get talked about very much in the show, strangely enough, because it's a good movie from not that long ago that I think we both enjoy. But I'm going to go with 12 Monkeys, set in the year 2035. That's just 11 years from now. A deadly virus, Anderson, has killed the majority of humans.
Yeah.
Their survivors exist underground. And of course, it's a time travel movie with Bruce Willis, who is sadly retired from acting due to a I don't know exactly what the condition is, but it's a
Kevin
form of
Costner
dementia.
hit him in the head.
Oh, is that true? Oh, shit.
That's what I heard.
I feel bad now. But yes, 12 Monkeys. You like 12 Monkeys, yeah?
Yeah, I liked it. I think I was too young when I saw it. I think I'll probably watch that again.
I didn't love it.
Didn't you not?
I don't think I loved it either.
I thought that I was a giant Terry Gilliam fan, and I kept telling myself that. And I kept showing up to his movies like first in line, and every single one would be like, I wanted that to change my life, and they just didn't. There was a lot that I liked, but also I was distracted by Brad Pitt because I'm like, look, Brad Pitt's really trying to act hard here. As before Brad Pitt's come a long way as an actor, and I think that I don't know, maybe I need to go back and watch it again. I need to shut up.
It's good watch along.
No, it's not. And whenever I think
Cosmoball's a good watch.
I think you got to read though. You got to read the what they're saying. So which
maybe there's a dubbed version.
Oh, if there's a dubbed
there's 1,000% a dubbed version of Cosmoball. Are you kidding me?
I need to watch that 12 Monkeys again. It just seemed a little
too. The whole thing's on YouTube.
Fuck yes.
But is it dubbed?
Let's see. Let's see if we got closed captioning.
Cosmoball looks pretty goddamn sweet. I'm afraid I like it though, because I mean, the trailer looks way better than the poster.
Wait, is this dubbed? Is it dubbed?
It's dubbed.
Madeleine dub.
All right, number one for me while Avery figures out if.
Oh, it's dubbed. It's dubbed and it's on YouTube.
Oh,
hour 58. It's dubbed on YouTube.
Never before has been so obvious.
Are we doing that? Is that what we're doing?
I think you're doing Cosmoball.
What's the year of it? It's pretty recent, right? 2020 or something? 2021?
It's like 2020, yeah.
All right.
Dubbed in English.
We'll be watching Cosmoball. It's actually I want to know more about this little heart face hugger. I want to know about the big fluffy white guy. We're going to get answers to all this with Cosmoball. We're going to see top tier Russian filmmaking for the Russian people. You know Putin's seen this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Putin loves this movie.
All right, number one for me, Brian. I'm going a little bit off the reservation with this one. But it's such an uncomfortable watch. But I really, really like what The Divide did as far as how will devolve when left with nothing. And it goes back to that we're all like, 2-3 days away from, eating our neighbors.
This is your number one.
My number one. And it's
I will say The Divide sticks with you.
It sticks with you. So opens up with the mushroom cloud, the mushroom explosion, and All the shit hits the fan, and there's some people that all kind of live in the same complex. I believe it's in New York, and they all like race to the basement, and then they fight to even get deeper down into the bomb shelter. And I think like 8 or 9 people make it.
Yeah, they
And
barricade themselves.
they barricade themselves down there, and that's when their true selves begin to get revealed. And it is
Yes.
not a good feeling to if this movie and it's hard to tell. I was talking to the wife just the other day. I'm like, I really go back and forth on humanity. Like, I'll be walking around thinking, you know what, people are inherently good and they'll sacrifice and do the right thing more often than not. And then the next day, and I'm sure it's me, and I'm internalizing a lot of stuff. I'm like, fuck everyone. Everyone's out for themselves. I fucking hate humanity. There's such a disappointment. It's so sad to be. I can't believe I brought a child into this world who has to deal with these fucking apes. Like, I go back and forth.
The duality of man.
The filmmaker here, they definitely have a point of view, and that is that your neighbor might be smiling at you as he waters his lawn right now, but if he's, it's not even like a matter of defending and doing something for your family. Doing maybe the wrong thing to somebody else to protect your family, which I can almost see. That's not what this is. This is all like one man, each man for himself in The Divide, and it's just I wouldn't even recommend this movie. Like, it leaves you just feeling icky.
It's a very tough watch. I really wanted more out of the outside world. Remember the one sequence where like she goes and they suggest a much larger I'll just say world outside, but we never get more.
Well, that's not the point of the movie, and it's kind of like
I know it's not, but I want.
And I was the same way with M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. I wanted to see like the aliens. That was really frustrating for me to watch Signs and be stuck inside that little farmhouse when the aliens were outside fucking shit up. I wanted to see them running amok, but we were stuck with anti-Semite and this little family in there, and we didn't get to see all the action.
With Bo and the anti-Semite.
This Bo and the anti-Semite, right? This one,
horrible sequel,
is all about them just being confined to this one small where the rest of the world can't see, and they just do whatever the fuck it is that they want to do. And there's power struggles. And we haven't even mentioned that Michael Biehn is in this, one of Brian's favorite people.
Oh, I know.
Rosanna Arquette, Courtney B. Vance is crushing it in this. And yeah, it looks like there's like maybe 9, 10 cast. If you haven't to watch the worst sides of humanity, The Divide. Oh, it's only a 5.8 on IMDb. People don't like this movie.
It divides people.
I endured The Divide more than I enjoyed it. All right, my number one movie I've not seen that I discovered through this research, and I think this one rings some bells. But Brian, Avery, this is the only American movie out of my movies I have not heard of or seen. The other ones are all foreign. This one, here's the log line. A race of alien robots have conquered Earth and forced humanity underground. After 400 years, a small group of humans develop a plan to defeat mechanical invaders in the ultimate battle between man and machine.
Oh, this is Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Transmorphers.
Oh, I've heard of this.
So have I. And you know what? Once again, doesn't look terrible when you look at the trailer report, but you have to imagine it is. Because it went straight to video, and it's
a sci-fi original, is it? Is it not?
It's pulling a 1.7 on IMDb.
Is it one of those run of films that there was around for a long time? There was like not so veiled imitation. Of the big budget movies.
Yeah, but that happened in the 90s a lot with all you needed was a poster and a DVD. I mean, a VHS. You didn't even need like a movie on it, really, and you could get rentals because people were shopping for, like, they'd shop for wine. They just go into a video store and be like, "Oh, look, that looks like a good label," right? And there was one. What was the dinosaur one that came out right after Jurassic Park, and it was just
Carnivore.
I think it was Yeah, I was gonna say Carnage, but it was Carnivore, I think.
There's a phenomenal clip of on YouTube, you can find it, of Patrice O'Neill talking about how, because he's obsessed with shitty TV, talking about how sci-fi names their movies. So they just have callers on Opie and Anthony just call in and give him a movie, and he thinks up the sci-fi movie equivalent. And it is so fucking funny.
He would make stuff up?
Yeah, because people would just call in with a movie. They go, "Okay, do Back to the Future," and he'd just think on it for a minute. He'd go, "Okay, ready?" And then he would give it. And it was so spot on with how perfectly shitty it was. Like Back to the Future was brilliant. Look it up. Patrice O'Neill's sci-fi original movies, phenomenal.
I take it back. The CGI was not bad in this movie from what I saw the clips. All of the actual human stuff is definitely sci-fi. It's like
Nice.
sci channel, like just trash. Have Transmorphers. Oh, bri.
That was a watch along.
No, we already found our watch.
Number one for
Cosmoball.
you already found it. Number one for me.
Yeah.
My most recent, well, it is actually my most recent movie, but it's also the one that takes place the closest to modern day. In fact, you would call this a near future. I mean, it could be tomorrow. I'm going with A Quiet Place, 2018, directed by John Krasinski. In the near future, most of humanity has been killed by invading aliens with highly sensitive hearing. We're in a sequel, or a prequel, I should say, this summer.
Thanks, Brian. Yes, we do. We've been.
I thought you said
Artist.
pequel. Like we're at the apex of this.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see. But either way, it's
I don't like equal. Don't
I
sleep.
hate it. I hate it. That's why I thought you just coined
I
that.
did not.
I was going to say that
I
is
would never.
Yeah,
I hate it so much, but it's kind of great.
equal. Oh, it's like a Naked Gun thing, right?
You know they'd say that shit on E. And we're in pequel
Oh.
season.
We've
We've got Mad Max Furiosa. We've got A Quiet Day One.
What do the listeners have on their list, Avery? Have there?
Top 5 pequels for the listeners. Yes, compiled by The Goose. Number 5, we have 28 Days Later, which 28 years later is going to be coming out with Killian.
That's right.
Killian in it. Coming back is the titular.
Oscar winner.
28 years.
Avery. No.
Number 4 for the listener, 12 Monkeys.
Hey.
Number 3 is The Road Warrior. I think they meant Fury Road, but number 2 is The Road, and number 1 far and away is The Terminator.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, see, it's like Mad Max and Terminator. Like both those universes are just like the greatest entertainment as far as what our future might look like. I'm trying to explain.
Cosmoball is what our future looks like.
Cosmoball is going to be in our future.
Atticus, what people were positing AI would look like when I was growing up, and what it actually turned it into, which is just fucking robocalls so far. And how it's like more AI is just fucking annoying, not scary. It's just really annoying right now. It's getting scary, but we're not scary yet. So,
But that's like people, isn't it? So that's really annoying.
I mean,
Until they get scary.
It's like 3 or 4 days where I'm just like, people are. I can't figure it out. It's like there's like then I'll go back to like people are just inherently monsters. They're awful. Back and forth.
Anderson's having an existential crisis.
I wish that I lived in a small town where I knew one way or the other, but living in LA, like you run into different. Today was one of those days where it's just like fucking people are monsters. Like everywhere I went, there was fucking fighting and being dicks to each other and assholes and dicks in traffic. And it's just like, fucking can't we all just get along? All right.
It could have been you, though, being sick.
No, I don't think so.
Everyone's really nice today. You just torpedoed.
No, Brian. They're like the one guy was screaming, and the fucking guy had to come out from behind the counter, behind the bulletproof glass, to actually do the guy's credit card because the guy in that the Hell's Angels jacket was like talking about how all other countries, every other country I go to, the pumps always work, but they never work in this country. And I'm thinking,
where
like,
were you?
never in the valley. I'm like, this guy's
Is it
never
a fever dream?
No,
Maybe he's talking about states.
I swear to God, guys, I went over and I just stared
He
at.
thinks every state's a country.
I because I could tell like it was in one of those situations where he wanted me to get involved, like he wanted me to take a side, and he's like starting to look over, like he was going to start to motion to me.
Are you with me, brother?
Yeah, I was feeling a moment like that come on, so I just walked over to the. I already had my Gatorade. I ended up buying 2 because I just went over to the thing, got another Gatorade. So I was doing something, closed the fridge door, and just stared into the fridge with
There's
my
a real.
people.
There's a real art to like pretending to do something when a crazy person is like going off. Like I'll just grab my phone and like hold it up to my ear.
But I was hoping that it would be, there was an art to it, and I was hoping it would be done. But by the time I got the second Gatorade, it was still going. So I just let the door close, right, the fridge door, and I just continued to stare into the fridge. I didn't even put up any kind of effort into like pretending that I was doing anything.
Nice.
My back to both of them because I had no energy because I was so sick and just wanted my fucking Gatorade. Yeah, and this guy was just. And then the guy, the really nice guy behind the counter, he comes in and he's like, "I'm sorry, that man was not very patient." I'm like, no, he wasn't. Well traveled though. Well traveled.
He's been to many countries where the ATM works.
No, the pump, the gas pump.
Oh, the gas pump.
He's
However-
like Bill the Butcher.
I know what he's talking about. You guys done the? It's a kind of a newer thing that's happened to pumps, but you put your little card in there, right? You do the little tappy tap, and it's like multiple cards red, and then it won't
Oh.
take your fucking card at all, and then you have to go inside.
I find those tapping things to be unreliable, but never had the multiple thing.
Yeah, and I've had it happen at 3 different gas stations in the last like 2 months. All right, first world problems. Next week we're going to be doing top 5 quitting scenes, thanks to Brian McCauley.
Ooh.
Top 5 quitting scenes.
Wait a
Things
minute. We may have done
where
that already.
people quit things. No, I don't think we have.
I think we did that already.
The top 5 smoking scenes, which you might think is like quitting scenes because you equate the two.
What are
Also,
you talking about?
you might think that. That's what I'm talking
You might.
Oh, I see. Like quitting smoking.
about. Well, we
Top
never did
5
top
quitting
five
scenes
might
was
think that.
done not that long ago in 2018.
No way. Really? Quitting scenes?
You know what? Though? I have a lot of also ran, so we can do it again.
Wait, we did top 5 quitting scenes? Seriously? Let me
In
get back into
2018.
polling. All right. Here. All right. Never mind that then. Never mind that now. Never mind that.
It's not bad. I got
Macaulay Brian might want to have his own, like new, like he might
There's
not
a stamp on it.
Yeah. So here's what we will do in lieu of, and then I'll kick Macaulay down. Fuck. Macaulay wanted to do it this month. Damn it. All right. Well, all right. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to kick it down.
Top 5 dong shots.
why can't we have them do a list?
You
for
know what?
next
We'll
week?
just do top five quitting scenes. I will check in with them before we make the announcement, like on the socials, and figure it out. Because we also have Jake Werner coming up. Jake Werner, and he's got a fun one. Random things you've learned from movies.
Ooh,
Oh,
Pretty good.
that's good.
Yeah.
I've
And then-
learned that Anderson is a great director.
Nick Eats Cake. I don't know where you're going. Nick Eats Cake has assigned us Alice in the Cities.
Alice in the City.
1974. It's streaming on the old Criterion.
Bill the Butcher would be up there for things I've learned from movies. That's a wound.
might-
That's a kill.
That's a great. That's a very good example. Yeah, that's gonna be one that Burners is going to be one that upsets me because like weeks later I'll be like, oh, I didn't have that one. It's gonna continue to pile up. So maybe we'll even do a second one of that down the road.
Patriot would have that where he jumps off the balcony.
Where you can land. There's one way you can land. Or
To
Well,
not
there's the one who
die.
assigned Alice something.
Alice in the Cities. If we have time this week, I'll give you a mulligan because we already are stacked up for next week as far as assignments. But as far as top 5, the decider list, we're going to be doing either quitting scenes or something else that Brian will bring us, Brian McCauley. All right, and then the week after that will be random things you've learned.
Okay, so quitting scenes this week.
Quitting scenes unless I tell you otherwise. I'll get a hold of Brian. Better Brian.
I've already got my number one.
All right, cool.
Here with my last number one. All right, let's gamble and get out of here.
Last week we gambled on IF.
Oh no.
Anderson guessed 56.
Oh no. You might have nailed it.
Brian guessed 80.
Okay.
Oh,
Did it go
I
up by
forgot.
30 points?
The actual Rotten Tomato score with 154 reviews is 47%,
Oh boy.
making Anderson the winner.
Oh, if all right, cool. Avery, I think you've already seen this, so you can weigh in too next week.
Rain of Fire.
You're gonna be watching The Contestant.
The contestant.
A couple weeks late. Everyone was talking
Oh,
about it.
that's the Japanese. Yeah.
Yes.
But now flavor of the week so much. Like, I really think this movie is worth watching. I wish
Nasubi.
the first week Nasubi is a treasure, and it says I still have so many questions about Japanese culture. This doesn't really answer them. It just makes me realize how much
How
different,
different
we
it
are.
is. Yeah.
It's fucking unbelievable what Nasubi puts up with. And I take 1,000 people off the streets in this country and put them in the same position he's in. And all of them, I would say every single one of them, except for the people who are very mentally ill, will walk within the first 2 or 3 days. Those
And
fucking-
Sue. And Sue.
Not Nasubi. And it's got to be a Japanese thing. It's got to be. So, and Nasubi turns out to be a fucking delight. Love that guy. Love it.
National treasure.
I'm in.
All right. So yeah, we'll be watching The Contestant. I know I'd imagine a lot of you have already seen it, but if you haven't, I highly recommend, and we will be talking about it next
Streaming
week.
on Hulu. The Contest Ant.
By the
And
way,
it's a scant 90.
by the way,
Does
And
it
it passes
reach
the Bishop Constant.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Bishop Constant. Nice.
It's 91 on Rotten Tomatoes, 90-minute runtime.
By the way, Hulu, fucking crushing it.
Oh,
Hulu
is
is
that true?
more than stars. Hulu has been killing it. Oh, the things that you're allowed to do. This is considered the original reality TV show, and you get away with more evidently in Japan. I was getting mad too because I'm like, you're not allowed to walk down the street and fucking drink a Coke, but you can do this to a human being on live TV. Like, how is this okay? Well, you see that the problem with that logic, guys?
You know the original.
Getting mad at Japan as a culture.
The original reality show is the news.
Do you know the origin of the word news?
No.
Always better than movie because movie's the worst.
It is a word made of the all four cardinal directions.
Really?
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
That's where they came up with news.
With news.
That's a happy.
Yes.
Is that a happy accident?
It feels apocryphal.
Those are the origins.
Really? I like it. And it makes sense, right? It lines up. What about Central though? Oh, news. You need to have something in the center. Otherwise, you're just looking all around you.
There's no central on the
I know, but like, you gotta have like you're always going in one of those directions. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm not gonna die in this hill. I'm not gonna make that argument. But there's something to be argued there. I'm just not gonna do it right now. You know what I'm talking about.
I guess if you're going straight up in the air, straight down the ground, you're going central.
Right. Not everything, not all news takes place north, south. What about your own town? What about happens right there in your own town?
Local news, you're right.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Put the C in news, Anderson County.
Centralized news. We're not going to talk about anything that happens outside
That's
your
right.
Fuck that.
I need a listener art that's not newsies, but news sees.
That is terribly inside, but I
Ever
like
stop
it.
and think about the word movie and where the term movie comes from and
It's
just
so
how
bad.
weighted and so
It's
bad.
a moving picture.
It's a moving picture. It's a movie. See, it's a picture that it moves. A movie. And then the talkies came in. It's just so. I hate. Oh, and I'm starting to kind of.
You're going to work yourself up.
I'm starting to crave the Coca-Cola ad, the Coke ad at the beginning of the AMC, way more than music flowing through me or whatever she says. But it's so cheesy when it starts right before we do the overhead shot down onto him who's sitting by himself because I guess she's presumably out getting Coke and popcorn.
Fuck the voiceover. Is that what you're about to talk about?
The voiceover is really bad, but the Hollywood sign, right? Which the A24 Hollywood sign is fucking sweet. When they show that, I like that. It gives me chills. But the Hollywood sign in this Coke ad thing, and then it does this wipe and it turns the Hollywood letters into blue and they're in space. Is that supposed to be like an 80s throwback?
I haven't seen that. What?
No, it's right
saw
before
a new Nicole Kidman.
it's right before the Coke ad. The new
When I was a little
it's like
girl.
2 months. It's 2 months old now, Brian. You're behind the times.
New to me.
Wait, when I was a little girl.
Yeah, that's how it starts.
Wait, what?
I saw a new Nicole Kidman ad, the promo, whatever, that starts when I was a little girl.
Really?
What?
I'm almost positive.
I don't think so.
I don't think I've
Okay.
seen it.
Well, I saw if.
What were the movies that were on the screen? Was it Avatar and
It was about how it
Elvis?
could transport her to another place, or no, it's where she went to dream.
Huh.
Maybe this is
But
does
again,
sound new.
maybe it ran exclusively with if.
no. They would never do that. They would never have one like
No,
outtake.
not
Any-
like it debuted. It
Oh,
premiered.
okay. Debuted. I
It
thought
might have.
it was only for if. I
Yeah.
got to look forward to now.
When you turn your phones off, the movie really shines.
And it's right when he's saying that the Hollywood words. Look for it. I think you're just blocking it out, Avery. But like
I'm leaving my
Hollywood sign.
body. I'm out. I'm fully out of my
the
body.
Hollywood sign on the hill, and then it does this wipe, and they all turn blue, and they're in space, and they kind of start to separate, and it looks so goddamn like VHS cheese.
What
It
am I
looks really
supposed?
bad.
I know we've talked about. What am I supposed to feel during this? What am I-
Speaking
What
of
is
VHS
this?
sheets, the promo that for IMAX that runs before IMAX is very low budget.
What is it?
I don't know. What do you like?
What's the IMAX? What's
It's
the
like it's blue and it's like very like lasery, like early 90s, like choo 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 choo.
I'm seeing IMAX. I think I'm going twice. Or if as long as my health can hold.
Blue Angels.
Not for Blue Angels, no. I'll be seeing
It's the countdown. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, that's sweet. The blue numbers are
No,
fucking
that's not
great.
sweet.
Oh, the
I
blue
think
numbers
the blue
rule.
numbers are good. They're giant. What are you talking about, Brian? No,
Just as they're big.
Hollywood thing. The Hollywood thing is what the awfulness. All right. Okay, we need to get at
Blue numbers are fucking awesome.
I find myself craving the dude in the Coke ad, looking to his friend, how he kind of looks up with his whole body, the dance scene. Like I'm craving it. I love it. I fucking love it.
What am I supposed to feel for any what is this?
It puts you in the worst fucking
You're supposed to feel
worst
thirsty.
state of mind, the most cringy, horrible, just upset state of mind right before the feature
You're
starts.
supposed to feel parched.
Dude, what was really fucking weird, and I talked about it when it happened, but the Northman, watching the Northman in the theater and seeing her do that thing, and then the Northman, and she's that thing. It's like, wait, I just saw her doing. It's too much. My brain can't take it.
Fuck. Can you imagine if you dated either of the principal people in that
He's
promo?
not bad. She's awful. I like him. I like his look. I hate when he looks right at the camera though when he's in the car.
Yeah.
I hate it. I would duck. I find myself ducking. Like, don't look at me, please. Don't look at me. I don't want eye contact. It's so uncomfortable.
I don't want anyone to know I'm seeing.
Yeah,
this.
I'm not part of this.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed
dragging
sitting
into
in
this.
the theater while this is on the stage. I could never take a date to a movie if I was dating days. We were gonna have to show up like 30 minutes late.
I'm gonna wait outside. You text me.
That fucking music, the sound when they're in the dance. And the coverage of the car chase scene is just so ABC. I hate it so fucking much. I hate it. And I think it's supposed to be cool, Avery. I think it's supposed to be cool.
And they have watch how little sexual chemistry they have at the end.
Oh, you keep bringing that up. Those two banged, I think, in preparation. There's a lot of
charisma free.
Sorry, oh my. Is
very
that live?
excited about this week's watch along, or next week. We're gonna do it next Wednesday. You down with next Wednesday? Brad.
Cosmoball?
Yeah, Cosmoball next Wednesday. You down?
Yeah, I think so.
Get some vodka?
Oh, finish off some bourbon.
Oh, you gonna be an American? Watch
Russian. I see. Yeah.
All right. Poland actually invented whiskey. I mean,
No.
sorry, vodka. All right, let's
Vodka.
get out of here before I say anything else.
All right, gambling. We gamble on the aforementioned Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
I like to be pointing out that Mike Carano, one of my dearest friends, hated Mad Max Fury Road.
Really?
He said
It's
it
the
was
worst
loud.
opinion he's ever held in his life.
I was watching the scene. It's more than a scene. It's like
But there's young girls in it.
20 minutes of them going back to the Citadel, and it still just doesn't make sense. Like almost any movie I see, I'm like, oh, I bet that took a long time, and I can see how that would have been really hard, and like that must have been a hell of a day. Like I can see that, right? But with that scene in particular where they're going back to the Citadel, it's just like how it doesn't add up.
Are
It
we
doesn't
because
make any sense.
because
they could have done
Furiosa is a prequel? Are we getting more Coma do Fourier?
I don't know why not. I mean, he looked pretty old in Furiosa.
Well, he was wearing his
Fury
mom's face.
I mean, Fury Road. Is that his mom's face that he's supposed to be wearing?
That was the backstory. Was that one of the backstories was that he was wearing his mom's face.
She didn't have eyes then, right? Because he had no eyes.
Well, he was blind, so it didn't matter.
No, but I mean, like he had no eyes there when he had that over. We all know where she's going to end up, right? Because we know where she started in Fury Road.
Likely, yes, likely.
But there could be a story in between there too. I'm very excited to say that.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Ladies and gentlemen. You know what? A lot of it's going to ride and die on him. Like if he doesn't pull it off, do you have it into you? What is the line? Do you have it in you to be epic?
Hemsworth. I find him to be a very charismatic actor. I don't know if he's a great actor, but he's a great example of a great movie star.
Miller was singing his praises.
What's he gonna
Again, I don't know that he's a
Out
great
there playing the
actor,
movie.
but he has charisma for sure.
I will have stories about the movie, as will Brian and Avery.
Oh God,
I
no,
should.
there he goes.
I should be. I mean, as we record this is Monday. In 6 days, I should be sitting in front of Mr. Miller after watching his movie. So
Oh,
looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. That I don't.
Nice. All right. What's your number for this?
What's that? Oh, for Fury. 3,
Yep.
1, 2, 90,
85. What?
94.
Ooh, I'm a little lower. But
all right. Anderson gets 94. Bryan 85 with the 93 reviews. Current Rotten Tomatoes score is 85.
no shit. Nice.
Cheating prick. Come on, guys.
Nice.
Don't be nerds. Don't be Mike Carano and think that it's just allowed.
85 is a good score.
Not for like something like a feat.
Fury Road got 97,
It's true.
and that's low.
Oh,
No, that's low. That's the low end.
All right, let's go. Get out of here.
How long is? Oh, I think I saw this is like 2.5 hours long.
Oh, and please shoot us more listener art. We are running low, and if you are not as artistically inclined, hey, we've been getting some great AI powered.
Oh yeah, that's really opened the door, hasn't it?
Submissions.
Nice. Thanks in
want to see a
advance, you
movie
guys.
right now just to see the Coke promo. It's like
Burn your
a
AMC
bad
movie
tooth.
pass.
It's like a bad tooth. Like I want more of that horrible feeling that I get. You're right. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how. I'm still exploring that side of me, Avery. I'm trying to learn how I should feel during that.
I'm laughing at Zach Robinson's listener art. Very good. Very well done, my friend.
Let's see. All right. Keep going, Bradbury.
Enjoyable art. Thank you very much, Zach Robinson. Great job as always. Check that out. AndersonandBryan.com. And while you're there, check out Scott K and the Continentals. They are our featured artists this week. Thank you very much, Scott and the Continentals. Andrew Martin, thank you, my friend, for sending us Frankenhooker, a film I would never have seen had it not been for you. So enjoyable. I laughed quite a bit. And
I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised. I learned something new about you every
I know. I like 20 minutes in, as I'm laughing, I'm like, I should hate this movie. This movie is like everything I hate about films. But I enjoyed.
Oh,
Thanks.
I'd like to thank Just Tyler as well. He's the one who originally assigned us Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Yeah, come back.
Kind of open our minds to that style of filmmaking and anime in general. So thank you for Just Tyler or Tyler Booth, who he assigned us a movie just a couple weeks ago.
The website is AndersonandBryan.com. There's an Amazon link there if you don't mind clicking that. Every time you go to shop on Amazon, we'd appreciate that. Anderson and Bryan is the Instagram. Anderson and Bryan is the TikTok. The Film Vaults on Facebook. The Film Vaults on Twitter. The Film Vault Podcast on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, thanks, Eric Kath, for helping out the show. Appreciate you. Giovanni, all the stuff that you do. Appreciate that. Drake, you're killing it over on the social medias. Fun games, fun interaction. Appreciate you. Mike Cole, and of course, the Goose.
Why don't you fill out the stuff that Drake needs you to fill out so that we can start Fandango, they need our help desperately, Bryan, but we can't help them until you help us. All right.
Yes. I will get on top of that. Look for a fun announcement about helping the show if and when you buy your tickets to movies through Fandango. We'll be partnering with them soon. So check that out probably next week. Patreon.com/thefilmvault. We just did our discussion of apes, right? Apes
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So yeah.
I find myself just walking around the house just going, evolution.
Lucian,
Jillian does not like it.
do you have more of those in there? Are there more?
Just tickled. He's just tickled. Ooh, what is that?
All right, you guys,
Like
thanks for
he ate
being
a
part of the
bonbon for the
show.
first time. It was like he had some kind of sweet cookie for the first time ever. Ooh, I like that. I would like more.
What's this? Why don't I own this?
We
All
need
right,
that.
thanks for downloading. See you all next time. Until then.
We do it for Van Gogh.